Head of the ADL, Jonathan Greenblatt, has weighed in on the controversy surrounding the pro-Palestine protests on campus, stating the ADL adamantly supports every single campus protest other than this one.
Greenblatt continued, I strongly believe college should be 95% holding signs and yelling into megaphones supporting causes that aren't Palestine, and says that he feels so strongly about this he even promises to personally give all college kids a $7 rebate to buy markers and poster board for any future protests that aren't this one.
At this point, Greenblatt said, actually, I should probably clarify that's one $7 protest rebate per person, not one rebate per person per protest. And we will, of course, need proof of protest to be included with your voucher application. It's nothing crazy, though, just a few signatures from all key protesters confirming your attendance and 10 to 15 high-res photos of the non-Palestine adjacent sign. After that, your $7 rebate will be sent within 200 to 300 days, as long as you answer the skill testing question correctly and had the application properly notarized.
Greenblatt finished by saying, you know what, I should also mention when you're mailing the 83-page written application for the 7 clams, make sure to include the original poster board receipt, as any digital altering will obviously void your rebate eligibility. At this point, assuming our lawyers don't find any errors with your application and the materials were purchased in person at one of 3 participating locations, I will be more than happy to hand over those 7 simoleons.
The boys.
It's the Boys Cast.
The lads.
It's the Boys Cast.
The dudes.
Prepare yourself for Boys Cast.
The bros.
It's the Boys Cast.
The homies.
It's the Boys Cast.
The dudes.
Experience the Boys Cast.
The boys cast.
One quick thing before we start. Austin this weekend, last weekend of the tour. Come out, see me. I got a bunch of people. There's going to be some guest spots. 4 shows, 2 Friday, 2 Saturday, this weekend in Austin. See you there. Here at the Boys Cast, you know, people like to comment, and I don't seem to have a problem if they want to come out here and say that I can't read. If they want to say they didn't like an episode, if they want to say that I'm on coke when I'm not, these are things that I don't have a problem with, you know? They might say Danny smells. That's the comments a lot of times have been saying. But when some of these people question my Adam Sandler adjacent comedy knowledge, that's where I draw the line.
Mid-90s SNL referencing, that is where we say enough.
I do say 100% enough. When I make a reference to early Sandler adjacent comedy and they tell me I don't know what I'm talking about, because we were talking about Rob Schneider last week and we said, making copies. And
we're doing a shitty version of it, but still, it was clear what was happening.
That's another thing I'm fine with. People questioning my impressions. Yeah. I've been known to be told that I can't do good impressions, and these are all things that are fine with me.
Sure.
However, some of these people are younger, and I give them the pass, you know? Us old heads over.
Us old heads. Us SNL old heads.
SNL old heads. I pulled up a clip because I just want to give people some knowledge. Mm-hmm. You are right. Pauly Shore had a similar thing. But how do you not remember Rob Schneider making copies?
The copy man.
Here's a little, if you don't remember that clip, it was kind of like his first big clip,
It was like a viral,
hit.
It was like what was viral in the 90s.
OG viral. This is it for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just making some copies.
The Tomster. Tom Man. Tom.
How you doing, Richard?
The Tomster. Making copies. Mr. Tom. Tommy.
You get the idea.
That must have been a tough sell at the, like in the writer's room at SNL. So what's the whole bit? You go, I go, making copies. And they go, okay.
You know what, though? I think back in the day, a lot of it was more character adjacent. So they're like, I have this character.
Right, yeah, it wasn't premise. Because remember, the guy Spade had the bye-bye.
It's not, exactly.
Yeah.
But you would say, he'd be like, that when you work in an office, someone wants to make copies and you just want to do it, but there's someone there that like won't leave you alone.
Yeah.
Like every time you go there, you have to talk to him so much, right?
Yeah.
And then that guy's there. I feel like that's an okay pitch.
Sure.
The Denarune.
The Dan man.
And I want to
ding dong.
Yeah. I want to thank the commenters though, and people who sent me on patreon.com/theboyscast, because when I talked about
sign up $5.
Yeah, sign up for $5. We're getting close to, well, never not getting that close. We're 300 away or something like
Honestly,
that.
Also, one thing that we don't say, that we never bring up too, is that, because a lot of like other subscription things do this, you get $5 now. Eventually the price will go up in the future with inflation, like maybe in 5 years.
That's true.
But you are grandfathered in. Right.
And if you don't like Patreon, theboyscast.com links to the same thing. You can do the episodes for $5. But when I mentioned that I was watching Vikings, everyone messaged me being like, "You gotta watch Shogun."
Yeah, I've been meaning to get into Shogun.
And Shogun's sick, dude.
Is it really good?
Well, I'll tell you one thing about Japanese people. They fucking love killing themselves with their sword.
Hey, man, it's called honor culture.
It's funny. They're always begging for it.
Yeah.
They literally, the guy comes in and he's like, "Oh, I made you dinner." And he's like, you remember sushi? I asked for chicken today. And I asked for salmon today. And just on its
not
own.
chicken,
The
yeah.
guy goes, "Oh, I beg of you, allow me to Sakura." And the guy's like, "Not now." He's like, "Sir, I cannot live with this." Everyone's begging everyone to let them kill themselves with the sword. They need it. They're so desperate. It's sort of one thing that as the episodes go on, then at the end is like he has a translator. He doesn't have a translator anymore. He starts speaking Japanese because half of it's like the one thing is it's like half subtitles and half not subtitles.
Yeah.
But then by the end, it's like the guy starts learning crappy Japanese, and you're just like, no. Get the subtitle. Get the translator back here.
Right. Yeah.
At least give me my half and half.
It is funny the difference though between people who like because people who are into books and stuff because we were talking about Shogun and then I was at a meal last week with my family and all these people at the meal were like, "Yeah, I read the books."
I'm not interested in the books,
I'm like,
man.
"There are books?
No books. I
They're
need my
like,
books.
They're like, "It's all these books." I go, "Books?
Bunch of bookworms.
The fuck does that?"
You know what's funny?
My mom read the Shogun books.
Your mom?
Yeah, my mom's like, "Oh yeah, I read all the books."
Interesting.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Some love scenes in there. Daddy's
Yeah.
mom's loving that.
Hey.
Dirty dog.
Dirty dog.
But the I put some. I still load videos to Rumble, and I just did Jimmy Dore's show, and I was looking at it because it goes on Rumble, and the first ad that came up. Buddy, the ads on Rumble. I don't know if you've seen because you stream on there.
Yeah, I stream on
right?
there. I don't. I think there's ads on the videos after the fact. I don't know what.
I
they
legit
are, though.
burst out laughing.
I have an idea,
dude.
though.
I turn on the video.
Hydroxychloroquine.
No, it legitimately. Out of nowhere, it just like caught me off guard. It goes, "Sleepy Joe doesn't want you to see this." And they were selling a Trump pin or something
Sure.
like that. But it just started with,
Hey man, they know their demo.
out of nowhere. I'm just on my computer right here. "Sleepy Joe does not want you to see this." I just burst out laughing. A pin. I started did a video about the Fox CNN ones because the Fox ones are all the old.
Yeah, the Fox ones are all like a lot of the Fox ads are just these like snake oil things for.
But it's for old people.
But it's like a multivitamin. But it's like the multivitamin
For patriots.
that the government doesn't want you to know about.
This is a multivitamin that has actual iron from shrapnel from 9/11. You know, a single hair from the first report. Lock her up, wart remover. Yeah. This is a wart cream for true patriots.
True patriots.
I just want to tell you, the CEO of this company is not about the PC life. He actually deported 4 immigrants personally as a volunteer member of ICE. Yeah, it is funny because you go to all the other ones. Is every other commercial is just like the most interracial families. Obviously, everyone says.
Well, CNN's ads are all medication for AIDS, HIV. They're all
Really?
Yeah. Same with ESPN. I said it before. ESPN. It's so crazy because if you watch like,
I didn't know that.
If you watch like the playoffs are going on right now, they have or NFL football. There's so many ads for HIV medication.
What the
different
hell?
ones too.
A lot
Like
of gay
when you go
guys
to the point, you
watching
go, how many people have HIV?
Well, a lot, but
But I guess I guess people just don't.
I mean,
talk. It's one of those things where people don't talk about it.
yeah, I mean, there's lots of people. I think it's 30% of the gay
me,
community. in cities.
JJ,
It's a pretty high amount.
gays.
But yeah, but they're watching NBA. That seems like not their demo.
That's what I'm saying. I get it on certain, like if you're watching MSNBC, you go, yeah, they all have HIV. I get that, but like Maddow, you go, yeah, it should be one after another.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think the HIV medication places are pushing all the gay agenda?
Hey man, it would be good for business. I'll tell you how much. That would be a solid business decision.
Yeah. But it's funny that obviously we were auditioned for commercials and stuff like that. And it was, just like the funniest part is that it's not that they like try to cover every race. The funny part is they try to break stereotypes at the same time. Mm-hmm. So it's just like combos you never see in like Asian guy, black woman,
Yeah.
Indian son.
I will say,
how did this family be? And then what they're doing is this is for like a snowplow.
Sure.
Right.
Right. A lot of the HIV ads too, rarely do you see a white person in them. which is interesting.
You think that? Yeah, you think you wouldn't want to do it that way? You know,
They
what I
go
mean? It's
like,
sort of
yeah, you think you'd be like, it's kind of.
they're usually trying to break the stereotypes.
I know, but
Well, that's why in this one they have the Asian guy, black woman. Asian guy's teaching the black woman how to dance.
Yeah.
Asian guy and the woman are both good at driving.
I told you when I was in Canada, and I
they're
saw
both cruising the snowplow and they both have really good driving
I
skills.
saw some like I think it was like a Bell commercial, and the construction worker was just like an Asian woman. You're like, come on.
the construction worker.
Was an Asian woman.
You're not seeing that.
Come on.
Asian construction worker is good. Yeah, and then it's back to Fox News. An actual vial of Ronald Reagan's cum.
Well, that would be worth a lot.
Buddy, you know what they've been doing a lot of? Because I have a bunch of news places that give me push notifications. Probably 5 days in a row, I got a push notification from like a, kind of, CNN, Daily Mail, whatever maybe not Daily Mail, but whatever the places are. And all of their news these days is just like Trump even angrier.
Yeah,
They just keep saying he's grumpy.
Yeah, he's grumpy in court. Yeah, you would be too.
I've seen probably 10 articles that's like grumpy, grumpy Gus at court. You're like, he's in court. And
I think they're trying to have to come after him a different way, right? They threw the kitchen sink at him the first time, so now they're like, he's grumpy.
They're really going hard on the fact that he's grumpy. I typed in like grumpy and cranky because I was going to curate some articles, but then I just didn't think it was funny enough.
Yeah.
But then legitimately, there's probably like 45 articles about just like how he's cranky.
Sure. Hey, man, they're making him go to court.
Well, that's the thing, though. If he does get out, it's going to be a white boy summer because Harvey Weinstein.
Harvey Weinstein, yeah. I mean, that's the thing, is because we were talking about it, everybody's like, well, because his New York thing got overturned, but he's still in jail because he has all these things in California. But then some people were like, it could set the precedent that'll actually get him his California thing overturned as well.
Oh, that's interesting.
So there is a chance he goes full Cosby and he's just out.
It seems to me if I was to bet, what are the Vegas odds on Trump's trial? I would bet that he gets off.
Gets off on this one?
Yeah, I bet you he gets off.
I don't know. There is apparently one juror who gets their news from Truth Social. So I saw someone, they did like a whole breakdown of all the jurors.
You want that guy on the
and
trial?
where they get, well, because, the juror selection thing is like, it's a bit of, I guess like there's like a skill to it
Yeah,
for
of
both
course.
sides and whatever. You're allowed to like dismiss a certain amount, but you
It's
only
like playing Guess Who.
But it's like a draft almost, but you're only allowed so many like chances kind of thing. So then you have to choose who you pick and who you dismiss. So they got one True Social user on there.
That's good for them.
Yeah. But only one. But that's all. I guess all you need is one, right?
I know, definitely. Well, the Weinstein being out, it was that officially that is white boy summer starting. Well, you know why? And this
I don't know if we necessarily call him white, Ryan.
Jew boy summer.
A certain type of white boy summer, I suppose.
Well, you know what's funny? Because it really is. It was just like the white guy Me Too's are over. They're bringing them, and then these guys are all getting out of jail, and it was like we're doing black guys now.
Yeah.
Like black rappers are what gets
Sure.
done.
Yeah, it is crazy though, because the election's coming up, and now if he somehow gets released prior to the election, we're literally gonna just do round 2 of this shit where there's gonna be another women's march.
Well, that's the problem.
A whole other-
Only if he wins, but I mean, there'll be a
only if he
moment.
gets out.
But
No,
there'll
if
be
he
a
gets out.
moment where he like Vince McMahon walks out of the court, kind of thing, with Vince McMahon.
With Vince McMahon, who's also there for his own issues.
I forgot.
just kinda
I
walking-
forgot they got Vince recently. Okay, so skies are still going down,
Yeah.
but not nearly like the black community's really getting hit right now hard.
But Vince doesn't have charges. They're just, I think he has some stuff. But
Have you by the way, have you watched any of the stuff with like, maybe you don't follow that stuff, but it's like, like YSL, I think the guy's
I
name,
see it on Twitter all the time. They're all-
Melly or something like,
yeah.
dude, there's basically like their rap squad,
Mm-hmm.
and there's like 20 of them, and their trial is being televised.
Yeah.
But it's crazy because it's essentially they're like a straight up hit on like mafia RICO charges.
Yeah.
But it's all televised, which is weird because these guys they're all rappers, so they like want to look cool.
But they can't.
So they can't snitch. So it's probably like a lot of these guys that you probably would have got them to snitch, but if they're like, well, everyone's going to see this on video. It's like, I'd rather go to jail than that, right?
Oh.
I bet you some of that puts it over the edge. Be like, fine, whatever. People will think I'm like a pussy or whatever. But it's like, well, they have like video of it, so no one wants to snitch. I don't think.
Yeah, and they have
Few
to
of them
and they have
never
to
did
pretend
complete
like all
deals.
their stuff was just art and not like they go, oh, all that stuff I was saying, like that's a bit. Like they have to essentially to save their hides. They have to say,
Yeah, that's a big part of the conversation.
Yeah, they go, oh, no, that's not like that's just for show. It's kayfabe of rapping. They go, it's not like I'm not actually a gangster.
And then the other guy's on trial for like killing his like 2 of his friends in a car and all this stuff, like a lot of trials. But the funny part was I was watching a bit of it. It's kind of interesting because the guys are they're trying to look cool.
Yeah.
So the lawyer's like, "Where were you this night?" He goes, "What'd you say? Like what? What does that question even mean?" And do you know how I've told you that I had a technique before that I say you use with girls called the groggy tired guy?
Mm-hmm.
And I realized the rappers are all doing my technique. They're all like rappers in interviews, but more even in this trial, they play the groggy tired guy. Like they all act like they just got up. Like every rapper, they're like in an interview, they're just they're like, you know, what were you thinking when you made that album? He's like, I don't know, dude. It's like, you know, I'm just out here doing my thing. You know, I'm like they're just they all act like they just got up. Because I used to say that that's what you do. Like you'd be dating a girl for a few months and she's kind of like, well, she always in the morning and be like, you know, so what is this? And you're just like, oh, what day is it?
Oh, can we talk about this after
Exactly.
my coffee? Is that cool if we get a coffee? Yeah. She goes, what kind of coffee? You're like, yo, maybe like a Colombian roast. I'm gonna go to Colombia actually just to grab it if that's cool. So I'll be back in next week sometime. And we can finish this conversation. Put a pin in it.
I can't wait. Well, that's what they're all doing. You know, even just commitment, like, hey, my friends are coming to town like 3 months from now. Like, you know, can you confirm next Saturday? You're like, oh, I don't even know the schedule. What is this? Where's the calendar?
Yeah, sure.
I don't even think I know what a calendar is. What's a
Sleepy.
But every rapper, I think they listen to the Boys Cast and they're doing my groggy tired guy formula.
The very long yawn. You're just like, oh.
Yeah, they go, and were you with him when he shot that guy? They go,
stenographer's just like,
they're one step away from having a nightcap that goes, and were you there for the shooting? All wearing nightcaps and PJs in the courtroom. But they all do it in interviews too. They go, you know, your ops said that this about you. They go, I'm fucking like, you know, a game's the game. You know, y'all just try to get that money, I guess.
do they get like a hood stenographer, or is there are there hood stenographers who are like who can interpret what they're saying? And, like,
Yeah, that is funny though. If they have like some white bitch, just like some 55-year-old like white woman, the guy's just like, yo, yeah, that's what it is, and the girl's like, huh?
did you see? Kind of unrelated, but this guy.
Does she type it in the way they say? Like, does she type in Axe?
Yeah, probably. Like, I don't. That's why I don't know. She's fucking sweating. She's like, do I type X or do I type S? I don't know. It's tough. Do you see that? This is kind of slightly unrelated, but the guy who got drafted by the Carolina Panthers.
No, what happened?
He's like this Southern super. He talks exactly like Dale Gribble. Did you see it? Oh my god, dude! Can I play it? I can pull it up here. I didn't have it queued up, but it is so funny. This guy, dude. He like the way he talks. He's like, oh man, they're like,
Danny, come.
his name is Xavier Leggett.
A lot of attention. Have you seen what they've been saying about your accent and how much people really love it?
Oh yeah, man, they've been dragging it all over social media. Man. I just tell folk, man, they really just ain't never heard of it.
He's trying to do the Little Wayne.
No, that's how he talks. He's like a Southern country boy.
No, but they try to get a little gravel in there.
Dude, he doesn't. You know what
I
it
could
is?
never do as much
He
gravel after
doesn't
my
move
voice.
his mouth.
Dude,
you watch him talk.
I'm a dang all going.
They just talking about all our social media. You know, you just know how we do this back in the day. We all over social media. You know, that's just how I talk. But he doesn't move his mouth at all. That's why it sounds like he's just like.
Well, you know that's the trick to doing a native accent.
Is what?
You don't move your mouth.
Yeah, you don't move. Yeah. There you go.
That's
so
like
he's kind of
life
doing a
hack.
version of it.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Well, did you hear that pornographer Kanye West and
Ooh, some people are some folks are not happy. Some folks who hopped on the Kanye train for his opposition to pornography.
It is Kanye West is a little bit at this point like a chick that changes his identity every 2 weeks. You know what I mean? He's just like, I'm like a 4chan edgelord. He's like, now I'm a pornographer.
Sure.
Like, now I'm.
Well, his whole thing was he loved porn, and then I guess when all this stuff
an
happened,
addiction.
Well, yeah, he's like a porn addiction and ruined my family, blah, blah, blah. And then he kind of tried to, I guess he's just relapsing.
How long in your mind I think it's a countdown till when Kanye West is railing that the porn industry's trying to like blackball and keep him out. Like he's gonna have a big gripe with like the head porn industry guys, which actually might bring him to his back.
Well, that'll bring it back. He goes, I have my spreadsheet here.
Of pornographers who are not letting the new pornographers come through. The new pornographers,
not the band.
Yeah, this is a bit of also like you can't beat him, join him, I guess, like, sort of thing.
Or he just loves porn so much.
But I mean, I guess he just has no shits about being like having like massive hypocrisy.
No, he doesn't care about that. He just goes, now we're doing porn.
I'm a porn guy now,
Porn's
and everyone's like, your whole thing was railing against this shit yesterday, and he's like, no, it wasn't.
Yeah,
he goes, I'm doing porn differently, and you're like, what is it? More chicks.
All right.
I'm listening.
You know what? That sounds pretty good.
I'm gonna reinvent the porn wheel. It's like black and white, more chicks.
All right. Hey.
Speaking of porn.
Ugh. So I was shout out to everybody who came to the shows in Plano, Texas this weekend. But funny thing that happened.
That's hilarious.
It's so insane. So on it would have been on a Saturday night. We were like out all day. There's like a 7:00 show. I was like out all day walking around or whatever. Get back at like 6 p.m. and I got to go, rip up to go shower or whatever and go run to the show. I come up,
finger your ass.
Yeah, finger my ass. I come up to we're on the top floor of this hotel. I come up to the top floor. The door's open.
Good shirt, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Come up to the top floor, and the door's open, and I'm like instantly so confused, right? Because it doesn't look like the floor that I was on. I thought I was in the basement, actually.
Oh, because they changed everything
because
around.
all the lighting was dim on the floor, and there was all these like lanterns, like they have like the lights in the halls. They put these like lanterns over them. I'm like, what the hell? And there was a guy. That was the main thing. There was a guy sitting at a table right when you get out of the elevator.
Okay.
Right, which is like, what the fuck? And so I'm like, what's going on? The guy goes, are you here for the party? And I go, no, I just have a room. I got to get to my room. And he goes, what? He goes, there's a private event here tonight. He's like, you can't be on this floor. I'm like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? I'm like, I have a room. I'm here like for 4 nights. Like, what are you talking about? He's like, there's been a mistake. He's like, you can't be on the floor. And then I start kind of looking around, and instantly I'm like, oh, this is a swingers thing, right? So the hotel that I was staying at, they accidentally put me on the floor that was running a giant swingers party where they took over.
Interesting. That's how they do it. That they just get like a hotel floor.
Yeah, but they took over.
What hotel was this?
It's called the Cambria. I don't know.
Was it a sleazy hotel?
No, it was a nice hotel. It wasn't like a super nice hotel, but it was like a nice hotel.
Okay,
nice enough. And then so anyways, they're like, the guy's like, and then I get to my room, so I'm like, hey man, I'm like, I got to shower. The guy's like, you got to leave. I'm like, dude, I got to shower. Like, I got to go. Right. I get to my hotel. Right when I walk in my room, phone starts ringing. Right. So I go pick up the phone. The guy's like,
so you sort of blew past this guy.
Well, I have to get to. I'm like, hey man, sorry. Like whatever.
He goes like, you don't understand. You're gonna ruin the party.
He's like, well, no, his whole thing.
Armo?
He actually said eventually, he goes, well, you guys can stay, but it's $100 a person.
$100 a head
if you want to stay on the floor. But he's like, the funny thing too is he goes, it's going to be like loud, crazy all night. Like he kept saying, he goes, you don't want to stay here. Like kept saying, he goes, you don't want to be here.
Trust me, I've seen the girls that are rolling through. You don't want to be here.
He's like, you don't want to stay here. It's going to be loud. He's like, God knows what time it's going to be going to.
Lord, it's funny. That guy just doesn't really want to be the job. He's like, he just got to book that job. He's like, Lord, if I was you, I would not be. Lord knows if I had a choice, I would not be here myself.
So anyways, and then I get to my room, the phone rings, I pick it up, the manager, he's like, hey man, I'm sorry. He's like, you have to pack up all your stuff and we have a different room for
They're
you.
coming.
He's like, you have to. He's like, I'm so sorry, you have to. I'm like, dude, I can't right now. He's like, you have to.
I would love if a bunch of guys with pineapples just walked into your room. It's like, where you going? Things are just getting started. The guy's on the phone. Hello, Danny. You gotta
get out. Take the stairs. Whatever you do, get out of there. So, anyways,
well, we got some fresh blood. It appears.
So there was a whole swingers party on the floor. It was so funny. So they're like, basically the deal is, it's all the rooms are like theme rooms. They booked the whole floor.
What's the theme?
So there's various themes. So the only themes I could confirm that I saw is there was a Sibian room. There was one room with the Sibian, and the rules are. So here's the thing. Can I say the name of the website? Does it matter?
Well, I don't think it matters.
Yeah. Okay. So it's called groupinkellertx.com. They say that we're the longest continuous running lifestyle group in North
lifestyle
Texas.
group.
North Texas. Texas. So if you're interested, coming up May 11th, they have another
I don't think anyone's
hotel
interested.
takeover. May 11th in honor of Mother's Day. It's the
have a Mother's Day?
MILF theme honoring mothers on Mother's Day weekend.
Imagine you go to your mom, you're like, hey, I was thinking about coming over for dinner. She goes, I got plans.
They're doing a little honoring mothers. And it's so funny too. All the promotional materials have all these like super hot chicks, like all 10s.
What do the people look
No
like?
10s.
It's
There's-
never
there's
10s.
no 10s.
What did the girls look like?
So for all I saw one couple. They were like in their
Barb and Doug?
mid 60s, probably. I would guess. Both gray hair.
Gray hair?
Yeah, they were at the bar. The chick looked like she probably was hot like 30 years ago.
Okay.
Probably she's dressed like a bit like a stripper, kind of had those vibes. And then I saw two groups of like nerds, like young. They were younger, but they were like really like nerdy, like chicks with purple hair. They looked like they
Anime
were
conference.
kind of vibes or whatever. But so I went to their website, and this is on their website. It says, how does a hotel floor takeover work? And this says, we have secured a private floor. Once past the curtain, you can have as much or no clothes on. You have two train of thoughts. You get a room and set up a theme room with your door wide open for couples, solo females to enter. And here are some suggested themes.
Crypto zone.
I want to just watching sports. I go, hey, this is just the sports room. Just chill, take a load off. Not that kind of load. But so these are the type of example rooms that they have: massage, karaoke, cum dump.
What's cum dump? Karaoke in the swingers party.
Yeah, hey man, sometimes you just want to chill, right? Karaoke,
Karaoke.
cum dump, Sibian / Motor Bunny, which they had.
What's cum dump, you think?
I don't know.
Like, what is that? That's where you
Maybe there's just like a chick waiting there, and you just kind of go do your biz.
you go dumping her and then
Leave. I don't know.
That's one of the. That also is one of those things maybe where they always expect that they're gonna have more girls than they do.
Yeah.
So they're just like, oh yeah, and that's where like the hottest girl goes, and everyone comes and dumps her, and there's like, oh, which one's the cum dump? Like, we've actually never had a cum dump.
It's possible. They have so Sibian Motor Buddy, which they did have, hot sensual wax, flogging, shots. That's the one I want to know. What's shots?
Wasn't shots like of alcohol?
I don't. Okay, I don't know.
Maybe. Back
Gangbang, train, bondage, kink, dark room, electrostimulation, dance, nudist, glory hole.
So funny.
lap dance.
Glory hole. They
That's the one.
They bring one?
dude. So I go. Is it like you bring a carpenter with you? Like, how does that work? Is there a guy just has like a piece of drywall with him? And he brings
With a
it up?
hole in it?
Yeah. You're like, how do you? I think I figured it out though. What happens is you probably you remove like from the bathroom. You just remove like the door handle, because that's like a hole naturally. So you probably just unscrew the door handle, and then you have the hole there, I guess. But it's funny because the guy's like, it's going to be wild, man. He's like, you do not want to be here, all this stuff. And then,
oh, believe you me, the last man who came never lived to tell the tale.
but yeah, so
He was walking funny for days.
and the deal is, so it's no solo guys. It's what do we have here? It's $100, no solo, $90 for couples, no solo guys. It is $10 for solo females, which is like, what are you charging them $10 for? You should be happy that
Well, the guy's praying for them, I guess, to convince them.
but
to
they're
go.
solo females though. Once you're a couple, you're a couple. And
Why
that's
charge them anything?
That's a different. Why
Pay
charge
them.
pay them $100. Please come here, right? So, anyways, that was the whole thing. And then at the end of the night at 2 a.m., we went to some bar in like downtown Dallas. We got back, and my girl was like, she's like, I have to see what's going on up there. So we took the elevator.
Okay, I'll meet you back.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Oh.
she comes back 3 hours later, and she had all the info.
She goes, the cum dump was wild. But here's another funny thing.
You're just in your room texting her, like,
Hey, are you done up there?
she's like, oh, it's hilarious. I'm gonna be
So funny. Everybody's so nice. They had a
comes
snacks
into your room walking funny, like those guys are crazy.
Dude, one of the rooms was a snacks room, like a snacks and just like, dude, they had crock pots with meatballs in them and stuff. There was one crock pot with meatballs, and there was one crock pot with chicken legs. Because I guess like meatballs, you think is not like
You guys got meatball sauce on his chest.
sex, like a sex event, and there's a fucking meatball room. But anyways, we went up there at 2 a.m. It was over. It was like we went up there, it was done. Like everybody was asleep, fast asleep. Crazy.
Just
though.
one, just one lone guy riding the Sibian.
He's just got it on like.
What took you so long?
No, it's like some guy just using it on like some knot in his back.
Really hurt myself over at the Glory Hall.
The thing is, they're all old.
I'm getting
dudes.
too old for this shit.
Like they're all old dudes. Most like pretty much. You're like, how many really like goes do they have in them?
How many what? Oh, well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Anyway. So at 2 a.m. it was done. They were all just fast asleep, and but it's crazy because probably people checked into the hotel for that floor like the next day. You know. Yeah. I was saying to my girl that
You
should,
didn't know that you're sleeping on where the cum dump
that should be like a you know when you buy a house
Hazmat.
that's had a murder in it and they have to tell you.
They should have to tell you.
It should be like a murder house where you go, hey, just so you know, this is the gangbang room.
You
last
should
night.
100% have to know that you
I
were in the
think so.
Sibian room. Yeah.
So anyways,
Do they bring in their own Sibian?
Yeah, of course.
So one guy's coming with a pommel horse. Dude, dude, that is so
was-
funny to think beforehand. The guy, the 70-year-old man and his wife loading their Sibian into the hatchback.
Sure.
The guy's tied it to the roof. So he can get it. He's got his hand on the Sibian on his way to the swingers party at the Cambria.
The bungee cords on the roof. Yeah, it was. I mean, I will say a lot of false advertising if you go to their website because every promotional image is like just models. Yeah. So, anyways, that's.
That's a hilarious thing to like accidentally walk in the wrong floor.
Yeah. And I mean, this is crazy. I don't know if I should say this. Maybe we can cut this out. Maybe not. But one of the models on one of these photos is JJ's.
Oh, someone! Whoa, a friend of JJ's is one of the models.
Actually, one of the models. But again, she doesn't.
She's not there.
Fuck no. This is the Better Business Bureau is going to be hearing about this on Sunday, where people are like, "Yeah, I was promised a model, and instead I got a 65-year-old mom."
That's like if they had John Stamos on the promotional photo for the bathhouse.
Yeah, exactly. It was getting fast and loose. But anyways, yeah, it was. I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it.
That's fucking great shit, though.
The Glory Hole was the craziest one because I was like, how does that even work?
Fellas, if you don't got a VPN by now, you are living in the prehistoric ages. I hope you like Game of Thrones because that's where you're living, which is why I'm telling you about Proton VPN. Whether you're trying to access, Netflix shows that are not available, whether you are trying to work remotely, whether you are trying to access sites that you might not access, or maybe you just want to have your internet, activity not tracked
by the government.
By now, you want to have a VPN. Proton products are the only alternative to big tech. Extremely easy to use thanks to the interface. Use it to get geo-blocked content on streaming platforms or better prices on video games. Provide safety through anonymity. If you're not on board by now, it is time. Check it out and go to protonvpn.com/Ryan Long. You get a month free when you sign up for 1 year, 45% savings, and 3 months free when you sign up for 2 years, which is 56% savings with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So take advantage of this limited offer for Proton VPN at protonvpn.com/Ryan Long. And some of you out here might be trying to break a bad habit, and you might feel like that is the hardest thing you've ever done. Well, Fume's got an answer because everyone's been there, and Fume has a philosophy that it's not about giving up, it's about switching up. Fume takes your bad habit and simply makes it better, healthier, a whole lot more enjoyable. If you haven't tried it, instead of vapor, Fume uses flavored air. It's an innovative, award-winning flavored air device that does just that. No electronics, it's completely natural instead of harmful chemicals, delicious flavor. So you get it. Instead of bad, Fume is good. It's a habit you're free to enjoy and makes replacing your bad habit easy. Your Fume comes with an adjustable airflow dial designed with movable parts and magnets for fidgeting, which I use personally when I'm editing different things. A lot of times you're just on a long drive, you're in an Uber. There's a lot of reasons you can do it. You can do it on a plane because this is not the bad habit that you're replacing. Some people might know what I'm talking about. Feels great. Looks cool. tastes awesome, lots of different cores. And right now, they just released their magnetic stand for your Fume, so there's no more losing it around the house. And it's also built with fidgeting in mind, so you can spin your Fume around on it. So start the year off right with the good habit by going to tryfume.com/boyscast, getting the Journey Pack today. Fume is giving listeners of the show 10% off when they use the code BOYSCAST to help starting the good habit that much easier with Fume. You were mentioning that it was also funny in BC in Canada. They made a law where they went all in on like you're allowed to do drugs everywhere.
Well, the fentanyl thing was so bad, and they were trying to figure out how do we stop fentanyl deaths, and we go, we'll just make all drugs legal. You don't get arrested for any drugs at all. And then, but now it got so bad where people are like in hospitals and stuff. People are just like literally in hospitals doing drugs, selling drugs. Like it just was such because I guess everybody saw
the street was already like zombies out there.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess they thought they were
makes Skid Row look like a banquet.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess they maybe saw what happened because Portugal, like 20 years ago or something, decriminalized all drugs. And maybe it's working in Portugal, but Portland did the same thing, and Portland just recriminalized drugs, and Vancouver or BC just recriminalized it too.
It's so funny being like, dude, I feel like they do so many things where they're like, let's do this, and then afterwards they're like, okay, we were wrong on that one.
Way more people died. Whoops.
I kind of was thinking like, there is probably some scenario where you could, there is, and obviously when you're making things more freedom, there's going to be consequences of that. Sure. You know what I mean? There's kind of the safety, freedom. Those are always the paradox, right?
Right.
But it's the same thing. Like I always kind of say that, like the thing that annoys me the most is when people just won't admit that there's going to be repercussions of their actions, like instead of owning them.
Or say this is some wild test and you're like, I have no idea how this is
Yeah, but you're
go.
like, obviously it's going to result in, more people doing drugs, obviously, right? On the streets and stuff. So if that's already a problem, you might want to make it worse. You almost want to like, if you're going to try to make things free, you probably want to solve the problem. Like you almost want to like solve the problem first. And then you're like, okay, whereas like if you have a murder epidemic, it's probably not the perfect time to be like less cops. You know what I mean?
Honestly, from the sounds of it, especially with the Portland thing, it's like really the only way to solve this problem, because it really is just like closer to a health whatever problem, is like you just have to go full China and just like you can either we tried locking people up and that didn't work, or that didn't work the way for in some capacity. And I mean, I don't know, maybe you go start.
Well, I mean, you can also do it without incentivizing it, right?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
it's like the truth is, like it kind of sounds weird, but it's the same thing as like the border or whatever. You're like, if you make it easier to cross, more people will do it. There's an obvious correlation.
Sure.
Like anything, when they make it the swingers party $90, more people come,
Mm-hmm.
But
both ways.
Yeah. But if you like the same thing was this, when you're like, if you make it really easy to, do drugs, where it's like, there is some degree of like, your average person, no matter what, it's like they still don't want to be, people don't want to be like homeless on the street, right?
No.
So if you look at that and you're just like, okay, I don't want to be that. But if you kind of like say, hey, we give them a place to live, and then we give them free drugs, and they give them, then it all of a sudden becomes like, I mean, that's not so bad.
No.
I can fucking get involved in that. What's worst case scenario?
Yeah.
But I obviously, so you kind of, the laws you make obviously just have a effect, obviously, right?
Yeah, there's going to be something. And I guess they were like, hey, maybe this will, at very least, the fentanyl deaths will decrease. And they just didn't. It didn't fix anything. And it made many things worse. And I mean, again, in Vancouver specifically, like they have that portion of East Hastings where they said like, yeah, you guys can do, it was like Amsterdam and The Wire. They go, you guys can do whatever the fuck you want.
If you haven't been there, it's
wild.
It's mayhem.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild
I went
because
and filmed there back in the day. Some shit.
Yeah. My brother used to live on East Hastings.
It's nuts out there.
And it's crazy because people live in like these apartments that are, like $1 million apartments, and you walk outside and it's just like hell.
It is crazy, but it's like there's like a line that almost like you cross, and then it's like you're Walking Dead.
Abbott Street that's the street, and after that it just becomes like,
and it just gets worse and worse
nonsense.
and worse.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of the same thing though. I was sort of saying like, it was interesting to me that, obviously people have made the point that everyone talks about the experts or whatever, like, they'll follow the experts, but they don't follow the experts for anything else.
Yeah.
But I was thinking probably the most thing, and I was in relation to the capital gains tax, like watching the discourse, because they're trying to do basically like this big capital gains tax on unrealized wealth.
in Canada and America now.
Yeah,
Biden said the same thing.
Well, that's, I'm talking about America. Yeah. And basically, I was watching the discourse, and it was kind of like people really like to trust the experts except for economics. So it's like, oh yeah, listen to the experts when it comes to climate change, but it's like someone who can't draw a fucking supply and demand curve knows about like the effects of like a complicated policy. And you're just like, some of the people I was watching talking, I've even like in real life, I was having this conversation with someone and they were just like, well, I guess you take the money from billionaires. And I was like, well, how do you think they get that money? It's like they sell stocks. I was like,
Sure.
You think that has no effect? It was just like, obviously this stuff has an effect. And
Yeah, it has.
there's only so much fruit you can milk from a tree. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, again, like there was doctors who were like, well, I'm going to move out of Canada, and Canada has a real issue where they have a increasing population and people, you have a country you're bordering you who, if you're a doctor, will happily take you and pay you way more money. And, a lot of doctors for many reasons probably stay in Canada, like for some sort of, they like Canada or whatever. And then you're now kind of making them think about it a little more and be like, maybe I should.
Oh, that's true.
Maybe I should leave. And you're like, you can't afford that. Again, there's like all these things always have second, third order consequences
That's what I'm
that
saying.
nobody can really predict.
Well, obviously, it's so obvious to know, but like people still pretend they don't, where you're kind of like, okay, if this is just like the answer to all problems, why not just tax 90%? And you go, so you understand that, so you admit that if you taxed everyone at 95% of their unrealized wealth, you realize that would be bad for the economy. Okay.
Sure.
So now however much you do it, that's how bad it is.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, it's I was
They're kind of like unheard of.
with the Trudeau.
amounts.
We said it last week with the Trudeau thing is he has to just take these wild shots because there's no downside. Like maybe he takes a wild shot and all these people are like, I like him, but regardless, if
Do
he
you
just
think the same
plays-
thing
if
about
he-
Biden? Biden doesn't have to take wild
Biden,
shots.
no, Biden doesn't need to. I don't know. And again,
I think people probably doesn't need to take wild shots. I guess they're trying to figure out this like deficit problem, but it's like you can't just tax your way out of it, unfortunately.
No, and again, like Biden, I feel there's less likely that his will pass, whereas the Canada one seems like it's.
That's what does seem to happen. I was
They
gonna
just say this shit here, and then he goes.
I was kind
"I'm
of saying
doing
that
this
to
thing,"
Kurt.
and then-
Every other America goes, we're going to do all this stuff. It never goes through, and then all the other countries actually do it.
Yeah, have all the others do it. They just, Biden says, and then at least Biden can say, "Well, I tried, and all these people didn't vote for it, but I at least tried."
It is kind of the unfortunate like consequence of America being probably the most important Western country. I mean, obviously the most important Western country, and everyone else sort of following in his tracks. It's really the guy that's like, you know what I mean? Hey, I think I'm going to sell all my stuff because we're dying tomorrow. And then it's like, yeah, everyone's like, we're selling all our stuff. And then they see him the next day, and he's like driving his car. You're like, I thought you sold all your stuff. It's like,
Yeah, I didn't.
I was talking shit. And, and they're all sitting there and like wearing a barrel over
Yeah,
their thing.
yeah,
Like,
I told the wife. She said we're not doing it, so that was kind of that. Yeah, I was drinking.
and the guy just a barrel on, just being like,
All right.
everyone else jumps off the bridge,
Yeah, and I mean, I understand the idea because housing is getting like crazy unaffordable in Canada and stuff, and they're trying to level it out somehow. But you're like, that might not be the way to do it.
Well, yeah, it might just make it worse.
Yeah, it might just make it worse in ways you can't predict. But
Andrew Tate this week has said that having sex with women is gay. The red pill guy.
that's what I'm telling the lady.
Well, part of it is like it's hard to even argue with because really he's trying to be funny. To
Yeah,
some
he's
degree.
just trolling.
The problem with someone like that, with Andrew Tate, is they kind of do this. He does the same thing comedians do a little bit, where he's like, "Oh, I was just making jokes," but it's like he's mostly not making jokes. So it's like I feel like if you're just like, "I'm just joking," at the very least, more than half of the time you have to be joking.
Sure.
Whereas
you
like I
gotta be
feel like
joking. Right. Yeah. You gotta
he's
be
kind of
joking
like
a lot.
more not joking, so you do take it seriously. So it's kind of like wishy-washy, but the wrong way. But
I
anyways,
mean, nobody who's an Andrew Tate follower is like, yeah, that is pretty gay to smash a bunch of chicks.
he says sex is for making children. Any man who has sex with a woman because it feels good is gay. Oh, my pee-pee feels good. This is the great. So yeah, he's obviously trying to be funny, but it is funny the idea of like the red pill guy that just like spent all the money on the alpha courses on getting pussy
And
courses.
he's finally getting some pussy. Like, finally, it's actually working out for him. He goes, what? I'm gay now?
Yeah. He's like, dude, I just spent $100K on your course to figure it out. I can finally get some pussy, and now you're telling me it's gay.
Hey, man. Shit changes. So it goes.
Alpha male, like, the guy that has the alpha male certificate on
Sure.
his bedroom.
I mean, the thing is, probably most of them, it doesn't even work for them, but some of them do. And then they're like, fuck.
Just the guy who, when I was born, I came out of the womb 3 months early because if you're not early, you're late. The doctor slapped me. I slapped him back. This is my house, bitch.
My house.
And then he's just like, I'm gay now? What the hell?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't believe he thinks that.
No, he doesn't think
And then
that.
there's also a part of it where he's pandering to the Muslims. Also, you kind of like getting this problem where you got to keep being more outrageous every time.
I think he just had a taste of he peaked like, or you know, he got so popular so hard, so he's trying to get back there. You know.
I know it is. It's a drug being that, you know, getting those many impressions and stuff like that.
For sure. And he's just like, what do I do to get back there?
I guess he's just like, oh, yeah, he's got to just say the wildest shit. I mean, I guess that's what Kanye West is doing
Yeah.
too. You know, next thing he's doing, he's going to be like, Kanye West is one step away from being, I'm actually starting a high interest loan sharking.
Yeah, loan sharking.
I'm starting a high interest loan sharking Cash App place.
Yeah, like in the hood. I'm just starting loan sharking businesses.
Dude, have you seen this? I don't know. I don't think it's like a red pill guy, but I think he's like a Muslim guy that does kind of like talks online, and he gives people like advice and talks
Okay.
about the Quran and stuff like that. And he has his wife in some videos, but his wife's not allowed to speak or be on camera.
Oh, yeah, I did see this.
So
yeah.
his wife writes her answers on a dry erase board. He asks her questions. She has to write down her answer and show it to him, and he reads it off.
The question is, does he even have a wife? That's the real question.
Oh, you're saying it's a dude in a burqa.
Dude in a burqa, or is
Oldest trick in the book.
Just all you got to do is just put a thing on their arm.
Two children in a burqa?
Yeah. Hey, it just might be a prop.
Trench coat and a burqa. You know what? I got to show you. Okay, so the Riz God is this guy from Toronto. And speaking of the red pill place, this guy is the best.
Yes, he's amazing.
If you don't follow this guy, he's incredible.
Go check him out.
like a
I don't
club
think he
promoter
has
in the six.
Yeah, he's a club. I didn't see. Yeah, he's like a club promoter. He basically just hires girls to hang out with him, and then he goes, "But these are all my." It's all like, these are the chicks I bagged last night, and you're like, you pay.
You're
them.
saying that he's paying them. I think you don't know. Danny doubts the God.
I mean, he's literally like this weird dude who's like twitches, and she's like,
he'd call you the no Riz God, dude.
"Hey, man, I'll take it. I'll take it." Maybe next time we're in Toronto, we'll go look him up.
Dude, this guy's so good. Okay, I'm gonna play a couple of these. So he makes a lot of videos on like getting pussy and stuff like
Yeah.
Danny said. He's having non-stop bangers lately.
And the comments are all dunking on him.
The comments are wrong. He's the goat, dude. This guy's swimming in it. He's like Donald. He's Donald ducking and just a friggin' Scrooge. Is it Scrooge?
Yeah, Scrooge.
McDuck.
Scrooge
In the
McDuck.
pool of money. That's
Yeah.
him with in just snits. Hold on. This one's probably my favorite.
But me fucking other bitches is what keeps them in check, because they know if they fuck around, I'm gonna kick them out of my crib and go hang out with other girls. My girls know if they're misbehaved, or if they act ratchet, or if they act undisciplined. I'm just gonna not see them for 2 weeks. Just send her home, and her life's gonna be boring and unfulfilling. I'm not gonna call her back. I'm not gonna text her.
Let's go.
Hey, man.
Hey, can you imagine though the horror of being put on that 2-week timeout for the Riz
Oh
God?
my god, seeing them just hanging out on all these boats
That's
on
the
Lake
thing,
Ontario and stuff, and
That's a fate worse than death, man. I wouldn't if you're one of the girls in that harem and you get put on that 2-week timeout, you're feeling it.
please, Riz God, please do not do this to me.
Riz God, please.
Yeah, and he does all these courses and
It's a
stuff.
fate worse than death. I'd rather step it to myself.
It's funny because he's just trying to do like a really low rent Andrew Tate.
High rent.
High rent.
Danny doubts the abilities.
I'm doubting them.
He's gonna put you on a timeout, man.
I would love to.
He's
just,
gonna put you on a timeout from other bitches.
He's not gonna. Yeah, I would love to just see him operate. Like, be like, hey, let's just go on somewhere on King Street. Just us.
see how much pussy you
I
can
won't
get.
tell you where we're going though, so you can't send chicks there in advance that you pay, and then we'll see.
I think he'd walk in and then the girl would come up to him. He's like, Riz God, I'm so happy to see you. He goes, you have 3 more days left on your timeout.
That guy probably gets more drinks thrown on him than any person in all of Canada. Like, that guy just must leave every bar at night just soaking wet. Just like handprints on his face and soaked. Because he must just have like an insane amount. I'm surprised he doesn't get beat up by other dudes.
Why?
Well, I don't know, because if he is doing what he says he's doing, he's probably just going after like, see the biggest guy with the hottest chick? Watch this, and then he goes over to try and like steal the guy's chick, and then just gets his ass beat.
I think it was the opposite. I think that the girl would run over to their boyfriend and he goes, no, he's gonna put me on timeout. I can't handle another timeout. please, but stop it. I love him.
I love the Riz God.
Hold on, the Riz God is another good one.
I'm dating a girl right now who's like devout Christian. I walked in the room the other day, and I swear to God, I walk in my room, and she's sitting there reading the Bible, and she's hot as fuck, tight waist,
course she
105
is.
pounds, beautiful face. And bro, I just shut the Bible, put the Bible down, threw her in the bed, ripped her clothes off, started fucking going at it. You know? But super hot chick. And beautiful
course.
girl, very feminine, very sweet. You know, but it's almost like she's too vanilla.
Oh, really? The reading the Bible part was where you go, that's maybe a little vanilla for you, Rizgod?
I honestly, I gotta give a tip to the ladies. Listen, if you get your chance at the Riz God,
Do not bring the Bible.
don't read your Bible on his bed. What are you doing? I know there's a lot of girls out here that are. He said she's in med school or she's a lawyer. She's trying to be a lawyer, so she's out here, you know, finishing her law degree or med school, whatever one he said. You go over to the Riz God's house. This is your chance to finally get some one-on-one time with him, and you bring your Bible and read it on a bed. Come on, that's on you.
Dude, imagine you have a daughter and she brings home the Riz God to meet you. You go, Dad, I've been dating someone. You're dating the Riz God? Like send her to fucking North Korea.
He goes, "Don't worry, I'm still reading my Bible, Dad."
It's funny too because he's on this podcast.
That would be
These guys,
tough.
None of these guys are buying this.
That would be tough dating.
I saw him on another.
What does your boyfriend do?
Riz God.
Oh, he's a Riz guy.
I saw him on another podcast where it was like a podcast about like mortgages or something. And he was talking some shit about mortgages. It made zero sense.
Oh, you didn't think it made sense?
It made no sense, and the clip was like 8 seconds, where it's like it wasn't even. The whole clip made no sense. I was like, all right, he's just getting out there.
Shit.
I mean, he's figured out a way to get out there, I suppose. But
Wow, this guy's crushing
he's
it.
very much of the. There's no such thing as bad publicity, right? So he goes, I just want people to know who I am, even if it means them just constantly dunking on me.
I mean, he's got girls coming over to his house reading the Bible daily. This guy's doing fine.
I mean, he's like a pathological liar. Like he's making these stories up on the spot. Like none of these things happen. Then he gets like some escorts to make out with him on his Instagram page.
Danny doubts the Bible story.
I'm doubting the Riz God, man. I'm doubting him.
Nine. I come in. There's 9 girls. They're trying to make me. They're arguing over who gets to make me
Yeah,
food. I go eeny meeny miny mo. The other girl starts crying.
Sure.
She's reading the Quran at the time. I should mention.
Good book. Don't want to slag the Quran.
So this is the girl version of so that's the red pill. The girl version of incels is why women are embracing the 4B movement, and the 4 B's comes from I don't know if it was Chinese, but
It's Korea. This is South
it's Korean, and it means no marriage, no childbirth, no dating, no sex, but in Chinese. So they said, women are quitting men, and they're not fucking around. This isn't a 60-day sugar detox or a pledge to stop doom scrolling TikTok. This is a hard reset. So I want to say personally, I'm shaking in my boots.
No.
Oh, please, women, do not do a permanent man detox. Oh,
I'd like
no.
to see what, I think a lot of these. Yeah, I'd like to see what a lot of these chicks look like.
A lot of these chicks probably could use a different type of detox. You know
Sure.
what I'm saying? A calorie detox.
They could all use probably just a normal guy.
Women are quitting men. Yeah, that's probably what's going on right now.
Yeah, that's what's happening. Is they're all quitting, man. They've had enough of men.
Oh, men are shaking in their boots.
Hey, man, don't threaten us.
Oh, don't threaten us with a good time.
We gotta send in the Riz God. Do you think the Riz God can turn them? Like they're all like, we're quitting. They go, send in the big guns. Who you thinking, Tate? Go, no. Send in the Riz God.
I quit. He's like, I quit, man. I can't do it. The Riz God undoes a button. I stopped having sex with men a long time ago. I'm on a detox.
I'm on a detox.
I'm different now.
I don't do that stuff anymore.
And the Riz God's like, forgot your Bible at my house the other day. Chapter 4. John.
Yeah, I don't. Why are they quitting? Why are these ladies quitting, men?
Well, it's basically,
What exactly is their gripe?
they're basically female incels, but it's empowered. Like when male incels is kind of like you know, everyone's like, whereas their female incel one is very like celebrated. It was just like, it's a
Yeah.
And then what they said is research has shown for some time now, while heterosexual men's lives vastly improve when they're coupled up, women's typically decline. So this research, this is the research that they said. Yeah. It's always men begging to marry the
What is
girls.
this
Yeah. What is this research?
What is this research?
I mean, basically, the research is they did research on one of the girls that the Riz God put on a timeout.
Sure.
And they go, you know, when I started dating, my life got worse. And she's like, well, they didn't mention the timeout part.
They didn't
of
mention
it.
the time. Well, that's what made their life so bad was the timeouts.
You know, the girl that did the research was gross. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Coming in, you know, she has to sew two scientist outfits together to do the
Jabba
research.
the Hutt doing some research.
Jabba
over
the
there.
Hutt. Looks like girls' life's worse than the guys' life better. Jabba the Pizza Hut.
Jabba the Pizza.
No, Jabba that's already fat. It doesn't even make sense. A 2021 report showed mothers of dependent children do up to 75% more domestic labor than their husbands and partners. Pew Research Center study found that there's still a marked imbalance when they're the primary breadwinners. So, first of all, it's kind of the old thing where they're saying they do more domestic labor.
Yeah.
But the second part, they go, there's a marked imbalance when they're the primary breadwinners. It's like, okay, but they're not though.
Yeah, I would
yeah,
be
but they're usually not.
shocked if there's a lot of ladies who are the primary breadwinners in Korea.
Well, it's funny though, because they go, in situations where women make more, their life's worse. It's like, yeah, but they don't usually.
yeah, that is so rare. You're sure. Maybe I'll concede.
Most of them don't though.
Maybe I'll concede that, but if you have some deadbeat guy, I guess, I don't know. So many factors.
Well, obviously, if you're to take every study, you're like, well, I know a girl who actually her life's worse because the guy beats her.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
case
sure there's
closed.
tons of guys who are in situations where the chick just makes way more money than them, and they go, yeah, and I do way more
There's
stuff.
a few, not a handful.
No.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Even in those scenarios, there's still, I'm sure, most normal guys are like, yeah, I'm happy to do all this extra stuff because you make way more money than me.
There was
and I don't
another
work as
article
much.
recently on the you know, the domestic labor gap, and they basically said they were going on about if men were paid for the domestic or if women were paid for the domestic labor, and they put it at $70K a year. It was just like, okay, but that's not how much it is because you can hire someone to do it, and they're not $70K a year.
Yeah, for sure. You could have a full-time, like, cook, cleaning.
Oh, and
everything.
you should
It's
have
not
seen the
70 grand.
itemization on this shit. This is
How much emotional
I'll tell
labor?
you what the itemization on this. It was the itemization. The itemization on this was done by the guy who itemized the ArriveCan app for COVID. He goes, you wash 2 cups, so that's about $300-400 at least.
We could just buy new cups for $8 a piece. You go, yeah, but who's going to be in charge of that? If I have to think about buying new cups, that's its own bill.
Oh, that's a bill.
The
Yeah, then we're gonna need a
thinking,
couple
the
cup guys.
buying. I have to go pick up the Amazon packages out front, open them up, break down the boxes. These are all expensive.
They're itemizing the labor the way that union men itemize, you know, the shows
Yeah,
when you
right.
want to add a light at the theater.
Sure, you go, hey, every cable we got to plug in, that's 40.
It's a mechanic that's trying to scam you. That's what. You go. Oh, one of the lights aren't blinking. The guy drops his drink. He goes, whoo! Oh my!
Let me pull out the user manual. It's like 400 pages.
Ding 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 ding. And you said that you also washed the shower curtain. Oh my god! Randy, can you bring in the bigger calculator?
That's a dirty job right there.
Ding ding ding. It was just like we know how much that stuff costs because you can hire someone for it.
Yes. I mean, you know how much a full-time job is for sure.
Yeah.
And generally, the people who do a lot of these jobs are like not even working on, you know, they're kind of under the table-ish in the gray area, so you get them even cheaper than that.
Well, so anyway, she says men are, and then some guys online that opposed it, you know, so there were some guys in the comments, they were like, well, no, they're
Go,
not.
honey, please come home. Stop with your fake research. The kids miss you. Please come home. We already went over this. You don't actually belong to any sort of research institute.
That's so funny. The girl's husband commenting on her blog post.
Just please come home. We miss you. The kids miss you. Promise I won't make you do any more emotional labor. Just come home.
I'll write you that check for $900 for making the bed yesterday. Please come home.
Chicks are.
Your parents are worried.
Yeah, we're all worried about you.
She's just in a shack in the middle of nowhere writing blogs.
It's like literally the Unabomber. The Unabomber. It's just like Ted Kaczynski shit, just writing their fucking.
And I also replaced the toilet paper, and that's about $3,000 right there. So to the men who opposed it, she said, these men fail to recognize they're screaming into a void. Women aren't interested in what they're selling. It's like, definitely some men are still interested.
This is probably like the bottom 5% of any eligible woman anyways who would even subscribe to any of this nonsense. So it's like, realistically, it's
Very specific type of girl.
It's such a small percentage. You're like, sure, remove yourself from the gene pool. That's fine.
Well, this girl said, I think it's cute that you came out and said that you weren't going to sleep with women anymore. If you said you weren't going to sleep with women anymore, we'd actually care. Most of us just want you to leave us alone. Feminist TikToker said in a recent video in response to the backlash from men. So she's saying that women just want to be completely left alone by men. And newsflash, no, they don't.
No, they don't.
Okay, go up. Let's do an experiment. Have 3 girls at a bar and then send in a bunch of spies that are going in. Just hit on all the other girls and not her. See if she loves that.
Yeah, no shit.
You just have every single guy swipe left, no guy ever talk to her again. See how she likes that.
You just get totally just treated like you don't exist. Yeah, you're not gonna like that.
So no, you think that the next thing you know, you're gonna say the girls like being on the Riz God's timeout.
That they don't like it. Yeah. I don't know.
Anyway,
these chicks gotta tell. Again, this is massive cope. This is a chick who's probably not. She's already been removed, like through just everybody selectively removing her, and then now she's like, well, I don't want to be in the dating pool anyways.
Yeah, I actually
don't want guys to talk to me, but they're not. This is the you can't fire me, I quit.
It's 100% you can't fire me, I quit. And she goes, come on, ladies, we're all quitting. And then she just starts writing, every single girl's quitting.
Yeah. I mean, some of them want to go for it.
Yeah, definitely.
We don't need you.
I mean, I know a lot of girls that are, whatever, not in long-term relationships, but they're still dating guys.
Yeah, for sure. Exactly.
Unless they're lesbos.
Yeah, unless they're lesbos, and then they're still dating chicks and something.
Unless you're lesbos, and then it's like, okay, just be a guy that's like a gay guy being like, we men are done with women.
I mean, some of them are. Some of them,
I know.
I mean, some of the gay guys were like, hey, women, so remember we covered it. They're like, stop coming to our things. Stop coming to our gay bars. You're ruining it.
Well, I mean, they just feel the exact same way that we do as comedians, where you're just like, bachelorette parties, leave us alone.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, there's no one in the world that wants a bachelorette party anywhere near their event. No one wants that many squawking hens coming and that entitled. You know what I mean?
No, they don't.
It's the lowest of the low.
Yeah, they're. Well, I hope it works out for them.
Guys, May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and Talkspace, the leading virtual therapy provider, is encouraging people to talk it out in therapy. Opening up to a therapist might feel uncomfortable, cathartic, exhausting, exhilarating, but one thing's certain: if you keep talking with a licensed therapist or texting, you'll gain insight, uncover truth that you can only find in therapy. Get those breakthroughs and judgment-free support by signing up with Talkspace. I'm sure there's a lot of people who've been going through a rough time, and you don't want to go to see a therapist in person. Well, Talkspace has made the process easy and judgment-free. So Talkspace has made a huge difference in a lot of people's lives. It's accessible and affordable. I'm sure a lot of you might think seeing a therapist or psychiatrist might be helpful, but you don't have the time to actually do it. You're a busy person. You might not think you can afford them. So try Talkspace by doing everything online. Talkspace has made getting the help you want easy, accessible, and affordable. At Talkspace.com, you can sign up online, get a personalized match with a provider that's right for you, typically within 48 hours. There's no need to commute to appointments, miss time at work, line up childcare in order to attend sessions. Mental health care made easy. Talkspace is secure and private, using the latest end-to-end bank-grade encryption technology to store client information, complying with the latest HIPAA regulations, affordable, and also in-network with most major insurers. So to celebrate May, Mental Health Awareness Month, and the power of talking it out through therapy, Talkspace is offering every listener to this podcast 80 $80 off your first month with the promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com/boyscast. To match with a licensed therapist today, go to Talkspace.com/boyscast. Get $80 off your first month with the code SPACE80 to show your support for the show. That's Talkspace.com/boyscast with the code SPACE80. SPACE 80. At the Boys Cast, we want you to be healthy. We want you to start taking AG1, and we want you to at least give it a try. It's important to me to take the supplements that are highest quality, and that's why me and Danny have both been on AG1 for
Every day.
years. First thing I do every single morning, coffee, AG1. Sometimes I don't do coffee.
Don't
Sometimes
do the
it's just
coffee.
AG1.
That's blasphemy.
Well, not every single day.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Sometimes, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Sometimes you just got to get out the door.
Sometimes I'm cooking. Yeah, AG1's quick. It's easy. So many people have asked if AG1 is the real deal. Trust me, there's a reason why we've been both doing it for so long. AG1 quality is not just a buzzword. It's a commitment backed by expert-led scientific research, high-quality ingredients, industry-leading manufacturing, and rigorous testing at each step of the process. AG1 goes above and beyond industry standards. It's tested for 950 contaminants and banned substances, while the industry standardly only tests for 10. AG1's team relies on expert-led scientific research, sourcing ingredients for potency and purity. Taking care of your mental health shouldn't be complicated. AG1 simplifies this by making it so there aren't a million different pills and capsules to keep track of. Just one scoop of AG1 mixed with water every single day. AG1's ingredients are heavily researched for efficacy, quality, and I love that every scoop also includes prebiotics, probiotics, and digestive enzymes for your gut support, vitamin C and zinc to support immune health, and much more. So, if you want to replace your multivitamin and more, start with AG1. Try AG1 right now. Get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs, which I always take on the road with me with your first subscription at drinkag1.com/boyscast. That's drinkag1.com/boyscast to check it out. Well, here's an interesting one. So Ozempic users reporting that the awful side effect is a lot of their dicks don't work.
Yeah, this is kind of interesting, especially saying the pills aren't working either.
Well, I know, right?
That's where I go, there might be something to this.
Well, I think, first of all, it was kind of making me laugh that, in America and everywhere, I guess, they say that depression medications make your dick don't work.
Yeah.
And I was kind of thinking it in relation to this. It was kind of making me laugh, the idea of like, yeah, that's how it does it. Sure. You know what I mean? Right. You're like, that's not a side effect. That's the medication. Yeah. They take your dick away and all of a sudden life starts looking, you're just like, well, my dick stopped working. You're like, I already took a couple strokes off the golf game. Like,
so much to live for.
Exactly.
So much free time.
Well, I even said that there's no one safe on the internet. Like you look at like Greta Thunberg will post, save the environment, and then 4 people are like, fuck her. 4 people are like, woo, she's the best, and like 9 guys are like, she can take my pipeline. Take that guy's life away. Take that guy's dick away. His life won't be better.
Take all the.
How horny do you have to be that you're commenting on Greta Thunberg?
That's the thing too, because if you're commenting on, like if you're an online simp commenting, like that's you're not commenting on one post.
Exactly.
You're spraying them out there. You're just commenting on every single post, being like, "You look great."
And you take that guy's dick away. So that's how depression medications work.
Interesting.
But this one's the opposite. I wouldn't know if you feel that. But I think what they're kind of saying is like drastic body weight changes to some degree give you dick problems.
You fuck with your hormones. But I just find it crazy that they fuck with your hormones to the point where you can't even use the pills.
And some of them have plummeting levels of testosterone.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Kind of makes
maybe
sense.
Some sort of hormone regulation. Your body is not sure what's going on, and so it's regulating its hormones like crazier than it normally would. I don't know.
It does seem like everything's giving you ED. It's a lot of medications to give you ED.
A lot of stuff, yeah. I mean, it is fair.
When your dick doesn't work, life works a lot better. The guy's just like, he comes in he's some girls are messaging me. It's like, well, my dick doesn't work. He just goes for a walk and he's like, things aren't so bad.
I can't imagine though if you're
lose some weight because you're going for a walk.
450 pounds though, that your dick's working amazing.
I know.
I can't imagine anything's working amazing.
That's the thing. This is probably temporary, and then probably it actually goes back and works better.
And what about age? Like,
and you gain a couple inches when you lose weight too, right?
Yeah, but is this?
I don't know about a couple, but
yeah, but is this the same for like a 25-year-old? Like, is a 25-year-old can't get it up, or is this?
Yeah, it's probably just a few people, and it's probably temporary. So I'm not buying too much that this is the end of the world. Did you know that other countries like Japan, for example. I don't know if it's still there,
Yeah.
but they have like, they used to, I don't know if it's still there right now, but they have laws where if you're overweight, you have to pay a fine.
I did not know that. I remember seeing something in somewhere in Asia where I think it was like a Subway or something where it's like if you a certain weight you get in for free. It was like essentially they were like publicly shaming, like if you were
Oh, if you're under a certain weight,
certain
they make you pay a
weight.
fat tax.
Fat tax, yeah.
On the subway.
Something it was like Subway.
Yeah, they were doing a lot of stuff like that where they were
do a
kind
lot of like public shaming. That's big in like very mild public shaming.
But incentivization's nice though, where you're just like, hey, you have to. None of this business where you get 2 seats on the plane. It's like, yeah, you have to buy 2 seats, and it's double the price. It's like,
sure.
Watch all of a sudden those pounds just drip off. You know what I mean?
I mean, again, they don't even have like barely obesity. Nothing compared to like America.
Well, I mean, that's probably why, because they have this kind of culture, right?
Right.
And also the different food culture and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, here it is hard. There is that part where I've kind of talked about it a bit, but there's that idea where you're just like, oh, you know what? I'm going to eat healthier. I won't have soda anymore. And then you're like, oh, you can't drink soda. And you're like, okay, I'll drink tap water. And they're like, tap water's bad for you. You're like, I'll have bottled water. You're like, bottled water actually kills you. You're like, how about I just drink my own blood? Is that what you want? Like, no, there is foods where it's like hard to. It's really a full-time job to sort of eat healthy in this country.
Oh, for sure. Well, yeah. Now that they're saying the forever plastics or whatever,
Forever
like all
plastics, the seed
chemicals,
oils.
or this is all killing you, and I don't know. Sometimes you just gotta be like, all right, well, just see how it goes.
I know.
Yeah.
Also, there is that other thing where it's like, I feel like this is the center of putting spin on things.
Mm-hmm.
Where if you even think about it, like how. You know, it's not bombing weddings. We're spreading democracy. You're not fat. You're beautiful. Like you would expect this is the ultimate putting a spin on people, putting a spin on things place.
Yeah, and again, I don't know. Like it still seems the net benefit of taking Ozempic for most people probably is still better than just go deal with. You know, it's you have a new issue. It's tons of drugs have side effects. And they go, yeah, these side effects we'll deal with, but the main thing we need to figure out, and then we'll deal with your little side effects. And well, what you can't take fucking 100 milligram Viagra. That's not going to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Seems like.
And Viagra's good for you. Everyone knows.
Exactly.
I was thinking also that, you know, girls always say like movies have unrealistic beauty standards.
Yeah. Not anymore. They don't.
Right. Well, they actually do have unrealistic. You're like this. If you were like into that unrealistic beauty standards, you were like, I can't get a girl that big.
True.
You go to the runway and it's giving you unrealistic.
I mean, we were
standards.
walking around when I was in Plano. I was walking around. There's like this area of shops, and the amount of just mannequins that are like a 300-pound woman mannequin.
Interesting.
I don't remember seeing those too often.
Well, they always talk about
That is Texas, though. So I don't
beauty. They always talk about unrealistic beauty standards, but they never talk about unrealistic personality standards.
No.
Like you watch a movie and the guy comes home and she's like, "How was your day?" You watch a movie, the girl, I'm just gonna go with my friends today. Have fun.
Yeah, have fun. I'll go. Hey, I fired up your PlayStation. Just I know sometimes it takes a couple minutes to get going, so it's ready to go. If your friends are all waiting for you to play some FIFA. So.
Unrealistic beauty personality standards. The girl's on a period, just business as usual. Unrealistic personality standards.
Not smashing shit or crying. Just so unrealistic.
Bit of a problem at work. Comes home, no big deal. Yeah. Unrealistic personality standards.
So, did you have any drama with anybody at work today? No. No.
Yeah.
Nothing. Like nothing. Even just like some minor thing that just really is nothing. Nothing I can think of.
The movies are making unrealistic personality standards.
Yeah, it's good.
I just because last week we were going through all the Reddits and I just thought these two related, but so in the OnlyFans advice, there's a lot of plus size because the whole thing is you have to get a niche,
You
right?
gotta get a niche, yeah.
So I'm fat and trans. I know BBW and trans on their own are popular enough, but I have this perception that the Venn diagram doesn't have that much crossover. At least I've never seen a trans girl my size doing it, which leads me to ask if you think I'd even have an audience. I don't use OnlyFans for my own gratification, so that may be part of why someone like me has never been on this platform.
Sounds like Gorlock.
But it's crazy just being like a 500-pound man and being like, if I put a wig on, will I do something? Can I make money?
That is very niche.
That's I can't imagine there's a ton looking for that.
No. That's just one of those things you go, this is a free thing, unfortunately. You go, you can give it away for free, but you're going to have to figure out a different way to make money off of this. You're going to have to make money down the line somehow.
You're going to have to go suck them off for
or
$4.
some sort of long game thing. But if you think people are just going to pay you to just see a 500-pound man naked because you have a wig on.
Legitimately, it's just...
And I mean, someone in the comments was like, their response was essentially saying, yeah, the problem is that men put on weight just in the wrong spots, like biologically. So you go, it's not like you can just gain a lot of weight and just get a fat ass. You're a dude.
You have a tiny little ass.
Yeah, you just
Hank
get a
Hill.
gut. You just get a huge, tiny ass, huge gut. And you're like, that's not really great.
There's a very good ones, though. This girl... I thought I was BBW because I've literally been made fun of my whole life for being bigger. I'm 235 pounds and I've been kicked out of multiple BBW subs for not being big enough. I never get traction in general subs full of skinny girls. People say the niche is where the money is made, but what the fuck? I don't know if I have one. So this girl's 235 and that's not big enough.
That is a real thing. That's also in like acting and stuff. You know, some people will be like kind of too in between.
In between.
Like, you either got to be like the hot guy or fucking Billy Gardell or whatever the hell.
It is crazy
John
that
Panette.
a lot of John Panette's the one trying to go trans for the V and the OnlyFans sub.
Like you got to be one of them.
Well, it's funny because there's a lot of these girls that are like, 300 pounds and they're like saying, hey, I'm losing weight. I lost like 20, 30 pounds and everyone gets like mad. It is funny to think of like I would love to like find out that like one of my friends was that. Like he was one of the guys like angrily messaging a 300-pound woman that she lost a couple. You don't even smell anymore, probably. Just so mad.
Hey man, I guess I thought it was usually women get mad at other chicks. It was like when Adele lost all that weight.
Everyone's getting mad at them.
Yeah, Adele, she just made it so comfortable for all these people to be just huge and gross chicks.
I know.
We have our representative, and then she turned her back. Actually, that Billy Gardell guy is super skinny now. He's like crazy.
Who's Billy
skinny.
Gardell?
He's Mike and Molly. Remember that guy from Mike and Molly?
Okay.
Remember him? He's like he's a comic.
That was Kevin James.
No. Mike and Molly is he's a comic, and then he's on that like Bob Loves Abishola show or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? There's all these crazy shows that are on their like 9th season, and I've never met one person who's ever seen an episode.
I was sure this was Kevin James, man, especially when he's in the cop outfit. This guy was a big boy though.
He was huge, and he's like real skinny now.
Wow.
Really skinny. I saw a photo of him today, actually, because Gina Yashiri, I follow her on Instagram, and that's her show. She like created the show or whatever, and I saw a photo of him. I can't even believe the show's still on, though. Like, it's one of those shows where
Melissa McCarthy.
Melissa McCarthy was on Mike and Molly, yeah, but he has a new show. He's apparently used to be like a fucking amazing comic, and but he was like 400 pounds. I bet you he's 200 pounds right now.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Johnny, we got to put a picture of this guy up. He's a pin. He's like good looking.
Yeah, he's like a stick.
What the hell?
Crazy.
Brilliant move for him, eh?
Yeah, well, he did. Well, I guess he made tons of money, so it didn't matter. Not going to fire him. And then I think he started the show though. Like if you look at it, I think it's called Bob Loves
Holy
Abishola,
shit.
which again, never. It's like been on for 8 years. Never heard of one person who watched it or anything. But he was fat. He was 400 pounds, and now he's just like a stick.
That's nuts.
Yeah. He did the John Goodman, I guess.
The rise of pre-erection condoms that men stick on 2 hours before having sex. Do you think you would do that?
I don't get how this even works. This doesn't make any sense.
This is the sell. So basically, the pitch. It's one Columbia-based company making them even brags. They make lovemaking so much easier and more fun because you don't have to interrupt your intimacy, blah, blah. So their pitch is like you put it on beforehand.
Yeah.
And then when things get started, you don't have to have that awkward moment where you go get a condom.
Wasn't that like some Porky's type movie? I want to say that I saw some movie, like some Porky's type movie where some chick was like, he's got the condom on already. Like it was like a weird thing.
That seemed like a gag.
Yeah. You go, wait, the condom's already on?
Well, it's funny to think about like the guy obviously putting the condom on and then at the dinner and then they go their separate ways and you're just like standing there with your condom on still. Pathetic. Getting turned down with a condom on.
But they're saying it's better. That I don't buy.
No way it's better.
Literally the whole
You're at
article
Wendy's
is-
after eating your fucking burger with the condom on still.
Just pull it out from like the waistband. Like,
Won't be needing this.
snap. Yeah, I'm.
The girl puts her hand on your pants. You already have a condom.
You have the condom on? Like, that would take so much. You go, no. It actually feels way better. You go, I don't care.
Do you have a condom? Yeah, it's already on.
Yeah, it's already on. It's been on for 4 hours. I've been wearing it all through dinner.
I've been wearing it all day. I never don't. Always ready.
I've been waiting for you to ask.
I'm always ready. That's crazy. I don't think I would be interested.
But they're saying that this, like, this condom or whatever is the material is way thinner than even regular condoms, so that it's again, guys are like, it feels better than not wearing a condom. You go,
probably not.
cap of the week.
Yeah.
Cap of the week. No way.
Yeah, for the week.
Who wrote this? The condom company?
Yeah,
Is
probably.
this condom propaganda?
Well, I think some of the sentences in the article are probably like the press materials
Yeah, the
from the
press
condom
material.
company.
Okay. Not buying it.
Probably my favorite article this week was we're all just property. What it's like being a woman in a biker gang. And it's basically newsflash that biker gangs aren't progressive.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Well, our whole thing is, it's like legitimately this article is sexism in biker gangs.
All right.
Also, I was just making me laugh. The idea of, you know, how you were saying earlier that the guy who's commenting on his wife's like, honey, come home. Can you imagine you're the head of the biker and your wife starts blogging about the sexism in the biker gang?
We're like literally a illegal gang. Why are you... You're not supposed to talk about us, period.
You'd definitely be. This girl's hearing about it from the... You do not want to come out. He's sitting there, a patched in member. Just, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. You're like, we...
What's this? I hear you're
traffic
blogging?
Narcotics. Why are you
And
blogging
women.
about us? And women. Yeah.
As it stands, females aren't allowed to be official members of the gang. However, they still hold a place in the ecosystem of the institution as old ladies, the title given to the female companions or partners of gang members. So there's not enough women in criminal enterprises. Is basically the issue here.
Problem.
Can women not break kneecaps?
Hey, probably not as well, no.
They have to walk steps behind your old man. You don't touch the patch. No speaking when he is speaking. Provide his food and drink. You'll be carrying the drugs and his gun. That is funny that they make you walk behind a little bit.
Yeah.
I didn't know if that's actually true, but...
Maybe, I don't know. It's probably so the boys can chat. But it's like you're walking behind, but with the other chicks.
I know.
So it's like, it's not that bad. All the chicks are talking, all the guys are talking. That's fine.
I mean, also the type of girl that becomes an old lady in a biker gang probably isn't the same people that are protesting at Columbia.
You know what? There are a couple of them who are actually at this swingers event, I think. I saw a couple of them at the swingers event. They were, ooh.
Yeah.
Yeesh.
There's a very obvious hierarchy at play within the Hells Angels.
Yeah.
Yeah. The killing.
Is this like some
is
blogger who's
wild,
like,
right?
I'm going to take down the Hells Angels. Watch this.
From
is
the
my
internal,
blog."
though? This is it's a girl that was an old lady. I mean, it sounds like maybe a girl that the old
She
lady
out,
that got
though?
left. Maybe she got left. Maybe the guy left her. Yeah.
But is she out of the, or she's out of the game kind of thing? Like the guy got killed or sent to jail?
I don't know based on the article whether she used to be an old lady or she's still an old lady. It does have a little bit of a tinge of she probably used to be an old lady.
Yeah.
She's mad that she doesn't get to be walking behind her
She's been
patched in member.
She's been slighted, but they're always on the back of the motorcycles. So don't you touch the patch then?
I guess they get to touch the patch when they're on the back of the
Is
cycle.
touching the patch a big deal?
Maybe they're not supposed to touch the front patch.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I don't know anything about the world of biker gangs, but I do know that there is probably some sexism and probably some racism. What's the racial?
God,
What's the racial makeup of the Hells Angels?
There's that's sort of an interesting topic in general because they're sort of like the Mongols. Like they were sort of the like Latino biker gang, you know?
Yeah.
And there was kind of there is some like different ethnicities that have their own biker gangs.
Absolutely. I mean, there was like in Montreal right now, there's a crazy like gang wars going on in Montreal where like everybody's getting killed and stuff. Like Montreal's like really
It is the organized crime capital, yeah.
Yeah, but
and I think it's close to America. It's close to New York too, so there's kind of like a border there.
and a big port. That's
Big port.
The port is, I think, the big thing, and like, but that's like almost the last place where all like the mafia is still actually operating in North America. Like actual like
Mafia would probably do good there if they left. You know what I mean? If Quebec's always, how Quebec's always saying they're going to leave. Like,
yeah.
we are taking off. Just kidding. We are still here. I am going to leave. I just joshing with you. We still part of Canada. Actually, I changed my mind. I leave again. I am still here.
Yeah, but there was like there was a big biker where they're getting killed left and right, and then there was this whole thing because this black guy who somehow got in the mafia. He was like part of some biker gang, and like the whole deal was that it was weird because normally they wouldn't even let black guys in, but they like made an exception for him because he was like such an exemplary gang member. Where they
And that's
like,
recently?
This is very recently, like in the last few months. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. There's like, dude, there's constantly in Quebec right now, like guys getting shot up in parking lots, like
I know.
mobsters.
Dude,
and
it's
stuff.
head of the Hells Angels and the Mafia.
Yeah. It's still going strong there. Surprisingly, you'd think it would be still going strong here, but it's not. It's like kind of over here. Like the Mafia in New York.
Is that
like,
true?
Yeah, the Mafia in New York, like they just dismantled them, but they're still pretty active in Quebec.
Interesting.
Yeah, like all the John Gotti, all that stuff. The families, like they're done here. They're I mean, it might be legitimately like they've just moved on to legitimate business, similar to how the bootleggers in the 30s ended up becoming just
Do they have French Mafia names? Like this is Putin?
No, they're all just like
He turns you into cheese and gravy.
no, it's all like the Guido, like they all just super Italian names and stuff. Yeah, but
I mean, if you're big, they call you small. If you're small, they call you big.
them's the rules.
That's the rules.
Rules are rules.
Well, yeah, they're essentially saying it's a mafia wife being like this mafia thing. They won't let women in.
Yeah.
the wage gap in the mafia.
I think you guys got it pretty good. Okay, you just have to keep your fucking pie holes shut and get a new fur coat here and there.
I mean, the Hells Angels guys probably have a lot of the guy coming home drunk and beating her, but
Yeah, I mean they're Hell's Angels. They're an outlaw biker gang.
yeah, maybe don't.
They're literally outlaws. They operate outside of the law.
Maybe that's the least amount of accountability I've ever seen a woman taken. This actually might be the prize for least accountability
Sure.
taken by a woman.
Yeah,
being
yeah.
like, I married a criminal in the Hells Angels, and I'm not being able to move up the ranks the way that I thought I would. I thought I was going to start at wife. I was going to move my way up to,
CEO. CEO of
CEO of the Hells Angels.
Hells Angels.
But I'm not receiving my adequate compensation.
Hey, that's how it goes.
Pretty funny.
Yeah. All right.
The Hells Angels. It is us. So there's a lot going on with Israel-Palestine protest stuff,
Is there?
right? So this has been heating up. Some of you might have heard an intro that we did about it at the ADL. You're going to want to get those rebates, folks.
Get those 7 clamors.
But I found 3 articles, because anytime you have every school just having nonstop protests, there's always hilarity that comes with that.
Sure.
I don't know if you saw one of the things that basically some Jewish organization paid for some singer to come put on a concert right beside the organization.
No.
And all of the Palestine protesters were posting on TikTok being like, this fucking sucks.
I mean, Israeli music fucking blows.
Yeah, and they weren't happy with the
Oh my god,
Israeli
dude,
music.
Israeli music sucks.
What
so
does it
bad.
sound like?
I can't do it, but it's very like
Russian-y?
Middle Eastern-y kind of. I don't know. It's crap.
Is there a lot of cash registers clanging?
I remember when we were kids, we always used to make fun of this guy. His name was I don't even know if I could find it, or
Israeli Yanni.
his name was his name was Doobie Dekel was his name. There's no way I could find this.
What do you mean? Just YouTube a Doobie Deco song.
I don't know how
and
it's.
put your
I don't know
computer
how
on the
it's
mic for a
spelled.
second.
The problem is I don't know how it's spelled, but I just remember his name was Doobie Dekel.
So maybe he doesn't want to be found.
This would have been 20 years.
Well, apparently this is going on everywhere. Like there's been a lot of interviews where they're asking people what's the reason they're protesting. Some of them don't even know.
Yeah.
And then, you know what I mean?
They
So
just like to protest. I mean, again, they were emboldened. It's hard to blame them to a degree.
I agree, yeah.
Because they were told 4 years ago during the George Floyd stuff where it's like, you don't need
there's
to know what's
nothing
going
higher
on.
than a protester. That is the
Yeah.
highest peak of society. It goes protester, mob wife.
Yeah, because they were told that protesting's good and they're college students. And I mean,
They
again,
were not only told protesting is good, they were told if you're bad if you don't.
exactly. Yeah. And
Silent. They literally said you're violent if you're not at the protest.
exactly.
Or you're
right, yeah,
silent.
I forgot about that. Yeah, they said exactly. Your silence is violence, and so they're protesting. The problem is, again, they're not going to accomplish anything, and school's ending soon. That's what I'm curious about. School's about to end, right? So they're kind of like a lot of these.
So these guys are trying to get every last little squirt of protest pussy before the semester's over.
right? And once summer starts, like you're not going to be able to protest on campuses. campuses, you're gonna have to go to the public.
It's not going to be as fun.
Well, you can't set up encampments unless you're homeless, and then you can set up encampments. So I don't really understand these rules.
There's a lot of rules.
Right? You
a lot
go,
of
no
loopholes.
encampments. You go, what if we're homeless, though? You go, well, then encampments are fine. You go, what if my tent is a Palestine flag? You go, not fine now.
It's pretty crazy the amount of dudes that probably are out there just for sniz. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's funny too. Like, do you think that the guy who has the biggest sign gets the most girls? Like everyone sort of knows. Like everyone argues over who gets the megaphone.
Maybe the best sign. No, I think it's the guy who makes the chants. The guy who makes like the catchiest chants is like that's the
Three
Riz
different
God.
guys trying
Sniz
to get their it's people trying to get their chant going, and the other
For
guy.
sure. Someone goes, hey, so I got a banger chant. You go, yeah, nice try, man.
Hey, what are you doing here? I'm the chant guy.
Yeah, I made up free Palestine, so I don't know what you're talking about, but
Yeah. Hey, you know that I'm the guy who made the free Palestine shit? Yeah. You know, I just like to see people enjoy it.
Yeah,
Does everyone know you made that? You know what? This is thanks enough. I just want to see people enjoy it.
yeah, if you want to tell people, that'd be cool. But
If you want to spread the word a little bit, but that's fine. You know, just so you know, I'm the guy who made the
But I mean, again, like all these people are like, oh, what would you think of the higher like these universities? Think of the universities. Like, why the fuck do I need to give a shit about what's going on in these like universities? You know what I mean? Everybody's like, oh, think about the reputation of Columbia. Like, why?
I mean, the reputation is this. The reputation is like
Sure, but everybody's thinking like these
bunch of mind viruses.
Sure, but they're like, oh, these institutions, we must protect them. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Why do regular people need to care about this? What's going on in these universities that are so elite that normal people can't even get into them? Like, even if you have good enough grades, like you probably need some family member who went there, and then you also need $400,000. Like, who gives a shit? You know, sure. The people, like, you know, I'm sure Columbia has a great business
if anything,
school.
it's just
none
like-
of those people are protesting.
No, of course
Like, those people
not.
are just going to class and like
The engineers aren't protesting.
No, like none of the people.
There might be
who
some
are-
guys there, you know what I mean, that are looking for the protest sniz.
Yeah, but again,
Because it's got to be, I'll tell you what, you talk about ratios, there's got to be like a 70 to, 70-30 girl guy ratio at these things.
Yeah, but those are big bushes out there, dude. You're fucking Forrest Gump in the Vietnamese jungle trying to get through that shit. Rain coming up from the ground, you know.
I've taken down some protest groupies in my time.
It happens, but yeah, I don't know. Again, school will end, and then they'll definitely get kicked out. Well, I guess they're all getting kicked off. It's funny to see the differences, like New York, because then they were like, we're protesting in Austin, Texas and Austin, and they're like, yeah, we're not New York.
No thanks. Yeah.
We're cleaning. You have 45 minutes to get out of here.
I remember when I went to the G20 in Toronto and I was filming, like I still don't really know what the hoopla was about.
Yeah, what was that? I think everybody was mad because they were just kind of they weren't letting people protest. And that's the thing. I disagree with that. You should be able to protest your government on public land. The problem with these colleges is that these are private lands. So at first everybody's like, call the NYPD, and the NYPD's, because the NYPD's been tweeting. I don't know if you've been seeing this.
What have they been tweeting?
Dude, there's all these members of the NYPD who are sick of basically getting like shit talked. So they're essentially saying, oh, we're just going to go straight to the source. You'll just hear it from us, right? So
Hear what from us?
Like their side of the story, right? Because everybody, and they're saying, look, like Columbia has to trespass all these people because it's private property. They're like, we're not allowed to tell people to get off private property. Columbia has to trespass those people, and then we'll come and get rid of them. But until Columbia does that, they're like, there's nothing we can do.
So leave us alone.
Leave us alone. Like, stop giving us a hard time, because everybody's like, bring in the NYPD. They're like,
This is
nothing we
like
can do
someone's
about it.
at your house, and it's like, we can't break in unless you call us and tell them they can't be there.
Exactly. And then people are mad. Then all these people are mad because they're like, why is Columbia doing this? And you're like, well, they're, we're trying to have some sort of order on our
and
campus.
they're like all very political people.
And it's exam time, and they're like, and more importantly, most people aren't into this shit. Like, most people at the college are just trying to do their thing and just graduate.
I will say, if you are a kid, I think that like when you watch it on the news and stuff, it seems like a big deal. But I remember specifically, like even at our university, like you'd be walking to class or whatever and see like a big protest, and it would just be like the equivalent of seeing people playing basketball. Like you're like, oh, there's a protest. But
it'd be like 8 of them or something.
Yeah, but you'd just be like a lot of protesting going on today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And again, they weren't staying there for 2 weeks or whatever. So I think the school was like, sure, let them do it.
Well, I'll tell you the 2 funniest things about it. The first one is University of Washington group cancels encampment for being too white.
Yeah.
So they were going to do a big encampment, and then they looked around, and it was only white people. So they were just like, all
right.
This is who we got, huh?
It's normally how it goes.
I know, right? Students at University of Washington announced their plans to postpone Thursday's Gaza Solidarity Encampment because too many white students were involved, which must have been the biggest bummer for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They can't get any... the lack of diversity.
The group of Pacific Northwest has been criticized for failing to include enough Muslim and Arab students in planning the encampment. It is sort of almost... one of those things where when you get so deep into this ideology, you're racist if you do, you're racist if you don't, because it was like, so what, you want the Arab students to be the one getting arrested?
Sure, exactly. We're putting our lives on the line for them.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It kind of is like a bunch of white people being like, and obviously Arab people at the front, we could never. We'll just be sort of in the back here. Obviously, we can't be the face of this operation.
No, absolutely not.
No, yeah, just Abdul, just pop up there. Let's get you in the front there. I'm going to be brought in the back here. Also, you're going to want the megaphone. There you go. Yeah. Hey, I would if I could. And you're like, why don't you want to be out there with the cops? You go... Point to his face.
I don't know why they don't just go to Union Square every day and just protest every day in Union Square if they want. That's a pretty you'll get on the news, you'll get your message out. The only difference is they won't let you stay.
There are a few people at Union Square.
Yeah, every day.
Every day.
Yeah, the difference is
just yelling into a microphone. Me and Johnny see them. They're just yelling into a megaphone.
Yeah,
no one's listening.
Sure. But I mean, if you had a mass
protesters walk by and pointed them like, "Ooh, a real New York protester!"
Right. But if you had enough people, then you'll get on the news and get your point across. The only difference is you're just not allowed to stay there permanently.
Yeah,
this is the main issue. Is people want to be able to just stay there permanently, and I don't know.
Well, they all know what the truth is. They kind of don't want to stay there permanently. They want like the controversy. You know what I mean?
Again, their demands are insane. Their demands are so stupid because their demands are literally they just want. Because all these huge colleges, they have these endowments, right? Like they're basically like pension funds that have a university,
right?
At this point, like Columbia, Harvard, and so they invest in stuff, and some of their investments are literally like the S&P 500 ETF, and 5 of those 500 companies like do business in Israel. So they're like, we want you to sell all your S&P 500 ETF, and they're like,
fuck.
That's what they want. That's literally what they want. Is they want their colleges to divest from doing business in Israel.
I knew that they wanted to divest, yeah.
But that's what they mean by it, is they go, hey, like sell all your BlackRock ETFs or whatever. And they're like, we're not doing that.
Shut up. Well, it's like also if you want us to do that, it would be like, okay, your tuition's more money now.
Sure.
It's like
also, they're just so full of shit with all their like safe. I mean, we'll talk about it when Jonathan Haidt comes on or whatever. But like they're all proponents of the safetyism, where you should never feel unsafe in any way. And then you're like, okay, well, some people now feel unsafe. How about that?
How about that?
How about that? And they go, well,
how you like that?
That's different now.
Then this is not exactly related to the protest, but they had
see the bananas thing?
Oh, what's a bananas one?
Oh, you didn't see that?
Sounds funny.
I don't know. It's pretty funny. I don't know what campus it was, but so one of the campuses, they set up their like list of rules or whatever, and they go, someone in the encampment has a banana allergy, a very severe banana allergy, and then these like pro-Israel counter protesters showed up holding bananas, and then they were like likening them to literally like the Israeli army like killing Palestinians because they're like. Like there's like you can see it. There's like a girl
Jesus
with
Christ.
an Israel flag, like as
holding
like
the banana.
And she's holding a banana.
This shit's out of
And then they're like, they were putting us at risk, and you're like, well, they didn't jam a banana in your mouth. They're literally just holding a banana, and they're making this whole
and it's got the thing on it.
Yeah.
Dude, that is literally like a joke of, if the millennials had to go to the army, the other thing would just need a jar of peanut butter.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, there's a drag queen that was on record ordering children to chant Free Palestine during Queer Story Hour at Massachusetts Arts Center.
Hey man, they're just combining every.
Oh, dude, it's literally going to the dad.
Yeah.
And you're just like, what happened in school? We had a drag queen talk. He goes, oh no, is he teaching you about gay sex? Worse, I'm Muslim now.
Yeah, did you hear the chant? It's like if you're a drag queen and you know it, chant Free Palestine, and then all the kids go Free Palestine.
Can you imagine? You're just like a dad from a small town with you've got the American flag do-rag on. You're just going to pick up your kid, and you walk in, just a drag queen making your kid chant Free Palestine. You'd have a heart attack on the spot. He's just having flashbacks of being back in Vietnam. It's too much. It's too much.
It's tough for parents right now, man.
He's teaching you gay sex. Much worse.
Much worse.
Jesus Christ.
If you're a drag queen and you know it.
Something else. Jerry Seinfeld's back in the news. What's the deal with PC culture? Are you going to watch his Pop-Tart movie?
No.
I don't think I'm in. The Pop-Tart movie wasn't doing much for me either.
I get it. It's so such a Seinfeld thing, being like, Pop-Tarts are crazy. How did they come up with Pop-Tarts? Like you can fully see that
100%.
line of thinking of how he probably got this premise and goes. It'll be like, because it really is apolitical. It's about nothing. It's just about Pop-Tarts. There's no cultural relevance.
Very Seinfeld.
But I mean, again, everybody's like, oh, he's ridiculous. He's talking he has a point when he says again, there hasn't been everybody goes, oh, you can't make anything, blah blah blah, and then everybody's like, well, Larry David was grandfathered in. Basically post 2015, there's just not an appetite for risk among any sort of industry because
outside the industry there's more of an appetite for it,
outside
and people are doing great.
In the free market, totally, but in the industry, and it makes sense because being an executive is the fucking easiest job, and they're hard to come by. And if you toe the line and put out something that's
you make $500,000 a year,
but if you say,
job.
hey, we're making this thing about an all-native trans basketball team, and it bombs, you go, well, I'm not getting in trouble for that.
I'm not getting in trouble for that one.
Yeah, you're not going to do what? You're going to fire me for that bombing? That's surely we're all agreed that we should have made that. Whereas if you make something crazy and it bombs, then you get shit.
I'm fired. Is that a movie that you think shouldn't have been made?
Exactly. Right. And then so it's he's right in that sense but it's not cancel culture.
Well, it's not comedy at large. It's just the industry versus the non-industry, which is a lot of problems. Even the ones people are saying is left and right. It's always kind of establishment, non-establishment.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can kind of boil a lot of things down to that, where it's when people are always, they're kind of arguing two different things. Some people are comedy got ruined by PC, and some people are arguing it didn't. And it was no, the establishment part, yes, it made it worse.
Yes,
and
exactly.
They're making probably less good stuff. And then the decentralized part of it might be more vibrant than ever.
Yeah. And
also because all the talent went there. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Forcibly.
If the NBA kicked out all the worst places, Ice Cube's league would start doing better.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, movies, one thing with movies, TV is fine. I don't movies seems like a harder sell to get back to, having these huge comedy movies that make $500 million at the box office. I don't know about that. If that'll come back, that's a different story.
No, it's probably the Netflix movie model will come back.
Netflix movie
people
model,
still watch movies on Netflix.
I mean, TV just has kind of supplanted movies as well.
But I will say there is something about I think a lot of people sit with their wife or their girlfriend and watch movies, and it's almost a little less fun to watch comedy movies in that scenario. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, it's almost comedy movies. I feel it's more on a plane or on your laptop or maybe at the theater.
But the theater is
maybe that's a part of
but the problem is all the stuff that you get from a theater, this massive screen and awesome sound, blah blah blah. You're comedy's the last thing that really needs it. It's
no, but the fun part about watching comedy is that you're with other people, so everyone laughs together.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the funny part. I've watched some, I remember watching probably the last really funny comedy I watched was Johnny Knoxville's new Jackass. It might have been 2 ago, but it wasn't his Jackass. Bad Grandpa.
Yeah, Bad
Grandpa. I watched that in the theater, and I was smuggled beer into the theater.
Yeah.
We were having a ball. It was so fun.
Yeah, that was so fun. But that was probably when did that come out? 2013 or something?
A minute ago.
It's a decade ago.
Yeah.
More than a decade before. I mean, I've said it before. Even Roy Price said it's the last big movie, the last big box office hit comedy movie was Ted 2. in 2015, and it probably they started making it in 2013, and then once Trump showed up, you're like, gone. All that shit's gone.
And also with like a guy like Seinfeld, he's sort of there. Like all the articles are like he railed against the PC culture, and all the other ones are like Seinfeld just becomes another comedian, like Ricky Gervais, that's like arguing that he's not funny because of PC culture. It's like, first of all, it's like he's doing fine.
Yeah, he's
like,
fine.
And second of all, it was literally an hour and a half interview, and it was like one sentence where he's like, yeah, movies aren't
about the
doing
state
stuff.
of movies.
Obviously, the PC stuff sort of killed it a bit. It's like grazed over a thing that 90% of people that are normal in real life would be like, duh.
Yeah, for sure.
It becomes like a controversy.
Yeah.
It was like, yes, your brain has to be broken to think that didn't happen a little bit, but like in comedy at large is probably in a good spot.
And again, it'll be back. It'll come back in some capacity. It's just, everything is just cycles.
So we have to mention this just because I feel like it took the internet by storm, and I probably saw it 7,000 times. But this article came out saying daily showers are purely performative and have no real health benefit, experts insist.
Didn't this seem like this was written by like a really smart 6-year-old?
What the fuck was
Like,
this
where
shit?
like he just comes in from the backyard covered in mud, and his mom's like, "You got to shower." And he goes, "Mother, actually, daily showers are performative and do nothing. I'd like to go."
Experts say the daily shower has no proven health benefit, but it's like not smelling is a benefit.
Yeah, that's a benefit. Feeling clean is a benefit. You feel better.
Also, it's like there's a thing where you get sick less a little bit if you get the stuff off your body.
I mean, you just feel better. I don't know. You don't smell. You're like your fingernails aren't
Wakes
gross
you up
and
a bit.
dirty.
But it's sure crazy has no health
pleasant.
benefits. Like I didn't think when I was taking a shower, I was like, this is like eating vegetables.
No.
You know, he was like, they don't really dismiss. They're sort of acting like the reason people do it is for health, but it's like hygiene is not.
Yeah, it's just hygiene. It's pleasant to take
And I'll
a
tell
shower,
you what,
a hot shower.
There's an epidemic of Ubers picking me up in their cars that smell, and it drives me fucking crazy.
All right.
And I fucking stare at them while I put the window down. I don't
Hot take alert. Uber drivers smell, everybody.
Have you not noticed that? It's not. And by the way, this is not a race thing. It'll be. I think it a lot of times is a. No. Let me finish.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times it is a. Not from America
not
thing.
from America thing.
But
I
it'll
mean,
be
dude, the
like
foods
a
they
white
eat-
fucking Russian guy or something too. Like it's
Yeah.
whatever. There
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
I'm telling you, I had
white. See, here's the thing.
like old Ukrainian guy just
You get an
stinking
old
up the car.
Ukrainian guy-
So I'm saying there's lots of different,
different
but it
smells.
usually is people that are from other places.
Dude, I'll tell you, if you get an old Ukrainian guy, you are about to smell like onions. Guaranteed. That's just what it's going to smell like. It's just cooked onions.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah, it's not the greatest smell, no.
Well, a lot of people have told me that they give bad ratings based on the smell, and that's even one of the options is car smelled bad.
Yeah.
I don't usually ding them on the smell because it's so common. I only ding them on talking.
How do you feel?
No, I ding them on
Talking. That's the one.
I ding them on talk.
Isn't that the
No,
one?
I ding them on talk on the phone.
Talking on the phone. Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
that's my thing. I ding them on.
Yeah, but how do you
It's the
feel?
only thing I ding them on is they talk on the
You
phone.
ever gone in one though, and they overcorrect so much where you're like you can barely breathe?
9
because
air
it's-
fresheners?
No, you're like I can't. How do you live like this? You're like this is too much.
You guys got a necklace on with just fucking 90.
You're like. I'm like, I'd rather it smell like some fucking spices or some shit.
I'm not loving it though, but I mean, this is crazy where they're just pitching the idea that people shouldn't smell. Why are we washing? Mostly because we're afraid of someone else telling us that we're smelling, says environmentalist. It was like, yeah, pretty valid reason.
Oh, it's environmental. This is conserve water. This is the conserving water lobby right here telling us why we don't need to shower.
Essentially, if you're looking at motives, what's
Literally
going on
Greta
here?
Thunberg being like, "Oh, showering's bad." I go, shut up.
Yeah, shut the hell up.
Take a fucking hike.
You don't need to take a 90-minute girl shower. You know
Yeah,
what I
exactly.
mean? But
You can take a 2-minute shower like a normal person.
environmentalist, weird name McCartney, only hoses off once per month to help the environment. So this is one of those things where you're never going to get people on board. If you're getting people, you need to. It's kind of what I was saying with like the burger, where they're just like people should eat less meat. It's like I don't know if you were there at the Brooklyn when we were having this conversation, but someone. I think it was Daniel. He was He was like kind of pitching that the Beyond Meat's actually good or whatever, and you're just like, okay, it needs to be the same price and not worse for you and taste the same. Figure out those 3 things.
I mean,
like you're telling me not to shower. It's like figure out how to make a burger that tastes the same price, and isn't worse for you. Everyone will do it. No one will care.
Yeah, but again, there's still other factors because they say that because the pro meat side will say with like the Impossible Burgers, hey, well, to grow those vegetables that they use, they actually have to kill a bunch of like small.
Well, they solve that too
and stuff, and
but it's like literally just solve the problems. You know what I mean? And they're like, no, you should smell bad, and you go, okay, well, that's not going to happen. Everyone's like, no on that one.
It's not. It's I mean, look, if you don't like eating animals, there's nothing wrong with that.
He says the modern obsession with cleanliness can actually be hazardous. You're not obsessed to not wanting to smell bad. You go to the gym, you're not supposed to take a shower. It's like, that's not health. Like, look at this clean freak taking a shower after he played a game of puck.
You ever smell old gym bag?
That's crazy. There was also one in our witches where this was from the Reddit. Which deity could be calling on me to take showers every day? So I've been told many times that deities and entities can be calling to you through urges for you at least once a week. Now I've had the urge to take baths and showers every single night. So she sort of has a deity being like, you smell. you. The deity is just like her boyfriend from the other room. Please shower.
It fucking stinks.
But she knows that she only listens to deities. Like, hey, you should take a shower. It's like, if the deities take me a shower, I will shower. But until I hear from the deities, I will be keeping my current regimen of once a week.
Stankin'.
Which would seem normal, but I only showered once every 2 days. Once every 2 days is fine. I don't really need to shower more than that. I was wondering if someone could be calling on me at that moment. The you smell deities hitting them hard. Well, there's also
Stink lines are always a big tell.
I believe there's a deity in our studio. Sign up for the Patreon.
Sign up $5 a month. You get 4 episodes. That's $1.25 per episode. That is literally like 20 cents a day.
You get to support the boy.
Surely you have 20 cents per day.
Goes towards Daniel's food
My
budget.
feed costs are going up right now with inflation.
If you sign up for our Patreon, you're just actually a feeder.
New tier. Patreon tier, the feeders.
New tier. Danny sent you a photo of him using it at a fast food restaurant. You dirty dog. All right. See you on the other side. Peace.